not be included on any funding bill. The decision should be made by CDC, which it has been, and that's where it belongs.
The Senate Majority Leader also warning against an amendment saying the funding should not be held hostage. Former President Obama visiting the White House for the first time since he left it more than 5 years ago to mark the 12th anniversary of Obamacare.
It's done what it was supposed to do. It's made a difference. First 20 million, and now 30 million people have gotten covered thanks to the ACA.
He's praising his former Vice President, now President Biden, for proposing a fix for a glitch that gets in the way of family coverage. The U.S. Senate takes one more step toward confirming President Biden's Supreme Court pick.
Another procedural step has set up a likely confirmation vote for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson before the end of the week.
She will bring a new and much-needed perspective to the court's work, while also affirming the rule of law and respect for precedent.
Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has set up a vote to end debate and shut off a filibuster for Thursday morning.
Fox's Jared Halpern on the Hill. So far, all 50 Democrats have supported advancing the nomination, along with 3 Republican senators. Russia denies committing atrocities in Ukraine, but that's not selling at the UN.
Every day, we see more and more how little Russia respects human rights.
The U.S. ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, just after the UN Security Council heard an appeal for justice from Ukraine's president. America is listening to Fox News.
Unified Communications, UC, is the next step in a business phone system. Introducing Docomo Pacific UC, your business phone. Instant messaging, video, voicemail, fax, and more. All unified on one platform and delivered through the cloud. Merge your desk phone with your mobile device. Turn voice calls into video conference. UC reduces phone costs. UC boosts productivity. Work better together with Docomo Pacific UC.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
A second arrest made in connection with the weekend shooting in California that left 6 people dead.
Police in Sacramento say 27-year-old Smiley Martin, who was hit by gunfire at a crowded downtown street early Sunday, is under the supervision of officers at a hospital, and once released will be booked on charges connected to the shooting that left 3 men and 3 women dead and at least a dozen injured. Martin's 26-year-old brother, Dondre, previously arrested in the shooting.
And we expect, as the investigation continues, that we'll be able to identify more people that were involved.
Police Chief Kathy Lester urging members of the public to turn in all images and videos of the shooting as the investigation continues. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The Environmental Protection Agency proposing a rule to finally ban asbestos, a carcinogen still used in some products in the U.S., including chlorine bleach and brake pads. The proposal would be an expansion of a 2016 law that authorized new rules for tens of thousands of toxic chemicals. A superhero on screen turns to publishing to help fight climate change.
Robert Downey Jr. has teamed with an environmental author to write the book Cool Food, Erasing Your Carbon Footprint One Bite at a Time, which has been picked up by Blackstone Publishing President and CEO Josh Stanton. The book, they say, will provide a smart, accessible, and game-changing roadmap to making climate-solving food choices. The deal is the first major nonfiction book from the actor, best known for his roles as Iron Man in the Marvel films and Sherlock Holmes. In a statement, Downey said, "Our best global food future requires no hand-wringing fad diets or radical shame, just a perspective shift." Michelle Polino, Fox News.
A late sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow down 279 at the close. The NASDAQ more than 300. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Here at Nimitz Towers, we're a large-scale rental complex. We have over 20 employees, and when the pandemic hit, our concerns were people not being able to work, loss of revenue and income, and luckily, due to PPP, we were able to keep all our employees employed, working. We were able to provide services, maintenance, and cleanliness for the building and the operation. Also, the rental assistance program helped us stay solvent during the pandemic, and helped us keep the attendance in place.
We're thankful for Congressman San Nicolas advocating for these funds on our behalf in Washington, D.C.
If you have any concerns about any federal issues, feel free to contact your congressman's office.
Thank you for the federal funds.
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 Paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Are you looking for a new place to hang out with your friends? Let's go along the sidelines at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Located at 154 Iriarte Road, Unit 4 and 5 in Tamuning behind Royal Bigs. Sidelines, a hidden gem with nothing but great things to offer. Great atmosphere, great food, top shelf drinks, and a great team. What are we waiting for? Let the fun begin at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. See you there.
Half a day, it's 6:06. I'm Ana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news. On the point, expect some wet weather to be moving into the weekend with a tropical disturbance brewing down by Chuk. The National Weather Service has been watching the developments of Invest Area 95W, which was nearly stationary south of Chuk yesterday. The Weather Service says it's expected to head west-northwest toward Yap over the next few days, but it's too soon to say which way it will move or how much it will develop between now and then. But they do say that there is a possibility as it moves toward Guam, it will remain south and could result in wet weather over the weekend. Localized and flash flooding could also be possible. Finally, some good news for families who've been in dire need of assistance for childcare. The Governor of Public Health in Gita coming together yesterday for a news conference to announce the opening of their child care assistance program that's aimed at helping thousands of Guam's working families. The program will pay up to 100% of monthly child care costs, and after adjustments to the monthly income threshold, more families, they say, will qualify for this aid. The program covers child care costs for children who are ages 0 to 13 years old, and children with special needs will also be eligible up to 18 years old. The governor says that the initial rollout will cover about 3,500 children, another 2,000 later on. The program will create also about 400 new jobs in child care. The program is valued at $81.5 million. The application period opened up yesterday. You can get the online application at guamchildcare.com. And applications can be sent to childcare@dphss.guam.gov. Now, if eligibility requirements are met, the payments can be made quickly. Federal funds, including block grants and American Rescue Plan funds, are being used for this program, created about a month ago through the executive order signed by the governor. There are a total of 6 different programs under this program, and one of them is to provide assistance as well to families who get care at home. We'll have more news right after this.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate, put cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want, with your Visa debit card. Where others put branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
It could also come as good. This couldn't be a better time for this news. Gas prices at the pump at an all-time high. A bill was introduced at the legislature that could nix the fuel tax on Guam and hopefully provide some relief at the pump here. Gas prices this week were at $5.79 a gallon, and that's just for regular grade. As reported in the PDN, the Speaker, Therese Terlahi, introduced a couple of bills. Bill 260 would remove an extra 4 cents per gallon for tax on gas, which took effect in 2017. And then Bill 261 would remove the liquid fuel tax altogether, which collects about 15 cents per gallon of gas. Now, public hearings for both of these bills is scheduled for this week, Thursday at 1:30 in the afternoon. And the U.S. military is proposing a nearly $900 million budget to procure a new missile defense system for Guam. According to a summary of the proposed 2023 defense budget, the new system could address growing missile threats from China. The Defense Post reports today that the budget invests $892 million for the defense of Guam, including improved missile defense, command and control capabilities, radar capacity, and new construction. The report also indicates the U.S. plans to spend an additional $133 million in base defense enhancements throughout the Indo-Pacific region. Apart from the new missile defense system, the budget proposal includes funding to develop ship-based Aegis systems for the island's defense as well. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
So we're going to be okay if the Chinese attack? Is that what they're saying? We're going to have all these cool systems? We'll start with like bow and arrows and then work our way up to the Aegis and the THAADs and all of that stuff. Very, very groovy, and thanks very much for the consideration here. Mostly, what? Slingshots, bro. We'll get all the kids from the Hilmani apartments out there. What? We got missiles coming up. Ooh, slingshot those things, bro. I'm expert. You saw me over at McDonald's in Harmon. All right. Mostly sunny in the forecast today. Highs near 88 degrees with a heat index. It'll feel like 94. Easterly winds up to about 21 miles an hour, gusting as high as 25 miles an hour. There's partly cloudy in the forecast this evening. Lows around 77 degrees, and still that gusty wind's going to be around with us for the next couple of days. Tomorrow, they're predicting gusts as high as 28 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies moving in tomorrow, and by the weekend, as Mata said, we could be in for some wet weather. We'll check with one of the Twins before too much longer. Heat index today, like I said, about 94 degrees. Red flag warnings. Be careful if you're burning, or just don't burn. I think that's what they're trying to tell us is not burn right now. Sunrise this morning in about 3 minutes. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:33. Hashtag tell the others. There's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific. Banking on the Pacific for 67 and a half years.
Introducing the phone that makes epic the standard, the Samsung Galaxy S22. This Galaxy is oh so beautiful and now available at GTA. Get the Samsung Galaxy S22 on HPO with the Live Limitless wireless plan and enjoy unlimited talk, text, high-speed data, and more for only $55 a month. And for a limited time, when you buy the Samsung Galaxy S22, you'll receive a $200 gas card for free. Come in today and make the Samsung Galaxy and Live Limitless your epic standard. Terms and conditions apply. GTA. We start with you.
Half a day. Patsy Gogri from Security Title here with information about what a title company does. The title side of our business determines who owns a property and guarantees your ownership with a title insurance policy. The escrow side acts as an independent third party, managing the transfer of money and documents between the buyer, seller, lenders, and others. Security Title has a management of real estate closings down to a science. Give us a call. We are here to help.
Yes, 6:13, Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home, also being brought to you by the guys over at Wendy's. They're cooking breakfast. Wendy's fried rice bomb-ola. Let me tell you that right now. And they've got this new thing we want you to try, the hot honey chicken biscuit to spice things up. All white meat breakfast chicken filet. They drizzle it with a hot honey sauce, served on a warm, fluffy buttermilk biscuit. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new hot honey chicken biscuit for breakfast only at Wendy's. We got ya.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I was just scribbling a couple of notes on some paper here as we make our way into the Wednesday version of the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray. Thrilled as usual to be here with you on the day I don't call Hump Day, just in case. You can pick out any day any name that you want to use. It's just that everybody else on the planet says, "Hey, Hump Day," and I'm not that guy. I try to be different. I try to be kind of unpredictable, warm, intelligent, and unpredictable. That's what I'm shooting for here in the morning broadcast. Anyway, as I said, it's what is it? Wednesday, right? Have I gone through that point already?
Is it Hump Day?
It's not Hump Day.
Yeah,
the day I don't call Hump Day. Anyway, I'm just trying to restart the show in my head, trying to figure out where we are here. Wednesday morning on the Ray Gibson Show, starting introductions for folks. Real Joe gets the phone when you call 888-8255-888-TALK. The Meme Machine online and working already this morning. I've got all kinds of images that are coming in. Jose Martinez is already flooding the Meme Machine.
The Tall Tales Martinez.
Tall Tales Martinez, yes, as a matter of fact. He's already flooding it. We've got some stuff from Rico B. Peter Santos has written me...
A Biba?
A thing.
A Biba?
Well, he's a Biba.
Candidate for something?
Well, apparently, he's got packets.
He's got packets.
Going for the Attorney General's office. We spoke with him briefly at the very tail end of the program yesterday, and I said, dude, there's just so much here that we've got to talk about, and all kinds of other stuff coming in here this morning. And this one here, which I love, it's a picture of Eve talking to the snake, and said, "But God said, if I eat it, I'll die." And the snake says, "Independent fact checkers have proven this to be false."
Well, thank you.
Yep. I appreciate that. Well, it is the devil talking, but it was so much interesting stuff here. The whole Twitter thing with Elon Musk. Are you paying any attention to that?
Slightly.
We talked about that a little bit yesterday with Jerry Robertson. Just fascinating. The guy bought himself a bunch of shares in Twitter. I mean, a lot of shares in Twitter, and now is maybe one of the largest individual shareholders of the company. And every single person, and I spent some time on Twitter, watching this yesterday. Every single person they're all asking him for the same thing.
Bring back bad Orange Man.
Bring back bad mean tweet Orange Man Trump. How long is it going to take to get that kind of magic done here? And there's all kinds of folks that we're touting the importance of freedom of speech and expression. And now that somebody who kind of identifies as conservative is owning a big chunk of Twitter, they are all freaking right out. It's amazing to watch. It's kind of a pleasure to watch, as a matter of fact. There's more on that as the program continues. Monica Silva Tyrant with a look at big news and headlines and the big news here.
That's what I do.
She got the packet. She got the packet.
What?
No, I didn't.
No. Oh, sorry.
What?
My bad.
I told
Spreading
you.
rumors again.
I told you when there was the whole list. One of the newspapers
Joanne
has the
Brown
list.
picked up a packet.
Hey,
She's the latest name.
Is that from the last time you looked?
Commission, yeah.
The Pacific Daily News has got a listing of all of the people that have picked up packets for senator, and there are some interesting names here. And I think one of the things that we ought to do is identify point familia. Because there are point familia names in here. We got Vince Borja has picked up a packet. Ken L.G. There's Sandra Regis, Jesse Lujan, Commissioner Roy Gamboa. He doesn't check in as often as I'd like him to, but he's definitely there. Dave Duenas is always on the Facebook Live. We got a bunch of other names that of individuals that Harvey Egna right down there at the bottom. Harvey's upset about a couple of things he's seen in the newspaper today.
And there's a Dave Camacho. Is that the same Dave Camacho's online with us today?
Maybe, I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know if it is.
Identify yourself.
Identify yourself
and
let us know.
Stand up.
Because if you are point familia, when we read your name on the Facebook Live thing, there is always a Biba. Because you're running for, and I don't even care. I don't even care if you're running as a Republican or Democrat. It doesn't make any difference to me. Frankly, the big deal is if you are part of this listening team here, if you're part of this broadcast team that we've got here, we support you because I figure you are going to come through as a Ray-publican, not a Republican, not a Democrat, but a Ray-publican. Somebody that's going to go and do good things over at the legislature, and by do good things, I mean stand up, defy, and dismantle and disrupt the status quo. There's too much of not enough that is happening for the people of Guam. I was thinking about this last night, and I thought, you know what? Maybe I'm going to spend some time. I'll go to the legislature's website and take a look at all of the bills that have been passed into law by the legislature in this last term, and how many of them actually make a meaningful difference in my life, in your life, in Mana's life, in anybody's life, because it all seems to be the same kind of shuffling around of government of Guam paperwork, as opposed to, what are we doing about schools? What are we doing about the hospital? What are we doing about crime and that kind of thing? So, and like I said, I thought about doing that, and then somebody called up and said, "Hey, I'm at Carabao," and I said, "Okay, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that, or I'll delegate it to somebody." Is there Pam Duvall? Can you do this?
Oh, wait, it was Tuesday you ran. Did you run?
I run. I did. I got my run in yesterday.
Okay. All right.
So you're running.
Sort of.
He's sort of running.
Oh, no. It's just, okay, so
Well, good job.
when you go to Strava and see my time.
Hey, when you're running, slow or fast, you're running.
That's exactly right. I lapped everybody that was on the couch yesterday, so that's the way that works. 888-8255. 797-8255 is the meme machine. You got something you want to send out that's going to be groovy and make everybody else laugh or think about, some deep, important thoughts, then by all means, go ahead and send those things through. 20 after 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's start talking about these guys here.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. You want to go where people know people are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
There it is, and here it is. This is the app of record, ladies and gentlemen, the Ray Gibson Facebook Live app of record. I have to say this because Mark Cruz keeps sending me screen caps and basically telling me, no, you're wrong. Somebody else came in number one. I'm like, no, that's your app is not the app of record.
They're checking for fraud, Ray.
Frankly, Mark, I'm just ignoring you these days. If I see a screen cap, I'm just ignoring you. It's 621. At number one, I got big man Rico B. As usual, Pam Duvall is right there. It says JB St. Nicholas, Therese Uggan, good morning, Chet, and Auntie Bennett Lohan Duenas online. Rico says, Maganda Numaga, need my point fix this morning. Rico, you're saying Maganda Numaga. I spent some time with yesterday was a couple of ladies from Mega World.
Mega World?
Mega World. Are you familiar with Mega World?
It must be in the Philippines,
It's in
Ray.
the Philippines.
It's Mega World.
Everything is mega. And so they came there. Now the conversation, it was I was trying to sell them advertising. They were trying to sell me condos. But it was a great conversation about some of the things that they've got cooking up in the real estate market, in the mall markets, and the hotel markets. They taught me a word, condotel.
Oh, condotel.
Condotel.
That's new.
It is new. There's a new concept where it's a hotel, but if you want to, you can stay there for like a month. They will keep it rented.
They don't have hourly rates.
It's not that kind of place.
I see.
Not in Mega World. But and so I was doing a little bit of research on the company because I wanted to see if I'd been at any of these places before. And the fact is, I was. I've stayed many times at a place at the Resorts World Manila in Pasay called the Belmont. And the Belmont it's a great little travel hotel that they've got there within walking distance of Terminal 3 or whatever it is, the new place over in Manila. But the best thing about the Belmont is there's great service, wonderful 24-hour diner downstairs. But the best thing about it is it's got a pool on the roof.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a pool on the roof, real Joe. And the pool on the roof opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. And the bar kuya?
There's a beer.
There's a beer. The bar kuya will bring you a beer at 8 o'clock in the morning. If that's, meets a... when I travel, I always feel like I'm in an international time zone wherever. So, every hour is happy hour. And you can get that stuff going over there. And it just brought back some great memories of walking around the mall over at the Maxims and going upstairs and everything. I don't know why, but I've got a lot of Manila in my head in the last 24 hours since that conversation with those guys. Anyway, so Rico B's online. Auntie Bennett Lohan Duenas is there. Hafa Henry Menglotya and Ken Augustin, who says Hafa de todos. Jerome McDonald, good morning, 93.3. Weather report, a heat advisory will be in effect for parts of Los Angeles from 11 Wednesday until 6 o'clock Friday. Temps expected, listen, the temps expected to reach 100 degrees.
Does that mean don't burn your trash?
Yeah. Don't burn your trash in Los Angeles.
Don't start your bush cutter there either.
Dale Audette is online. John Ray Taitano is there. Hafa to Heather Perez.
100 degrees?
100 degrees.
It was like 60 degrees, 50 degrees last week.
Things change.
Oh
Well,
gosh,
it's
crazy.
Los Angeles is like in a bowl area.
Yeah.
And so when there's not enough wind to empty out the bowl and push it, either out of the ocean or over the mountains, it just stays in the city and felt just Ew, I'm getting all sweaty in my boob area right now. I'm just thinking about it. Heather Perez online. April and Coco Flowers Shelton. Hoffa Brown watching the program. Good to see you there, amigo. Kenneth Polino. Dennis Drawhorn is watching. Cool new name.
Dennis Drawhorn.
Loving this. There's Jenna Joe, who's watching the program as well. Right-click on that for me, Real Joe. Would you?
Good morning.
Have a Joy Unpinko. That's Joy Unpinko. Got Joanne Taitano Benidosu. Tao says there's only one. There's only one. Marshall Wong, Elaine Duenas Udzoa, Hafalani Salas says, love the title this morning. Have a blessed Wednesday. Thanks, Lonnie. The title today is Welcome to the Guamanian Oligarchs, or the Guamanian Oligarchy.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that phrase so much since Putin invaded Ukraine. And not to make light of the situation, but it just occurs to me that I don't know if we've got our own oligarchs here. You know, I passed by the boat basin, ran by the boat basin the other day, and I did not see any big, 200-foot yachts or anything like that. So
Nobody walking tigers?
Oh, we should have, we should have our own kind of oligarchy here on Guam. Wouldn't it be? I think life would be better. So I'd like to volunteer to be one of Guam's first oligarchs. So if anybody's got any spare Mercedes Benzes or Rolls Royces, I'll settle for a Jaguar, maybe one of Phil's cast-offs. Then by all means, I'd like to become
second-hand opulence,
the first of the Guam oligarchs. And let me see, Tammy Poole is there. Jane Nauta. Ismail says, we tell kids that Santa and the Tooth Fairy are real, and they believe it. And then he goes on to this. Wow. We have it ends with the word transgender. Do I want to?
Oh, wow, Ismail.
Little early.
Yeah.
Little early.
Have
get
some
into
coffee,
that.
bro.
That's it. Sure. Juanita Machi is online. I see Greg Bass Knight there. James Howard, have no fear. The progressive mainstream troll hunter is here in search of the evil internet villain. Show yourself. You and I have unfinished business. Mana had mentioned that. Is there a troll in our midst?
They're everywhere, Ray, especially these days.
I like trolls.
He's one of them, too. He's a left-wing extremist.
Who's that?
James Howard.
James Howard?
Yeah.
Disguised as a right-wing conservative nut job?
Yeah, he's weird.
Let me see. Jay Rojas is hanging out with us.
Happy birthday.
That's what he said for you.
It's his birth month.
Pat Saho is
For
there.
real.
Sherry Iriarte. Good morning to Brennan Fosto, our favorite jarhead. Neri Ishizu. Good morning to Margaret Estacchio. Every time I try to go something, ooh, Neri Ishizu, Mata goes, you're related. Or she's married. Or
She's married.
Okay.
Yeah, third cousins, man.
MT Farron, Cheryl Ochai, David Lazard saying good morning to everybody, followed by David Camacho. Something about political posturing. Yes, we'll go there. Simon Sanchez online here this morning. We spent a lot of time with him yesterday, so I'm just going to wave back at him and say, hi, Si. Good to see you online with us this morning. Rudy Rodolfo, the original Burger King online.
Good morning, Your Majesty.
Can I say now, can I let out the big surprise? You know, it's almost, Lent's going to be over, and they will go from the fish fillet into the next big thing over at Burger King. I know what it is because I did the commercial. I've got the live script ready to go.
They told you, man?
They told me.
That's hard, dude.
But I don't know if it's a secret or not.
You're
Really,
struggling lately, man.
it's dude, I got one of those messages yesterday on Facebook, and it was like, can you keep a secret? And I'm like, why are you? Yeah,
No, he cannot.
Yes, I can. I can totally
No,
keep
he
secrets.
Yeah, maybe.
There's telephone, television, and teleray.
I learned it from Tel Shelley. Rico B just making $1 billion. Keenan McCausland's online hanging out with us. Joe Dizon, good morning to Eunice Mandiola. Jack Larimer says happy hump day. And holiday to you. Where are you performing tonight? Where are you performing these days?
Where are you humping tonight?
Over at the still at downstairs over at the Deuced, right? China's goal to abolish the American footprint in the region, the total annihilation of Guam, is a component of their first step. Again, more happy thoughts from Ismail.
Yeah.
You're in a dark place, bro. we need to just go look at the pictures of your kids.
Smell chocolates.
Look at the pictures of your kids on Facebook today. What do you got? Brian Bautista tuning in from Tannisbourne, Oregon. What, did you go by there while you were in your stateside trip?
No, not this time. I didn't.
Normally, though, that's part of the trip, right?
Yeah,
I mean, somewhere
yeah.
between L.A. and
Right down the West Coast.
is a swing through Oregon. Hi, Brian Bautista. Always nice to see. That's our old Brian.
Oh, Brian B.
Yeah, Brian B.
Brian B from the radio.
Exactly. He's online. Benidosa Tautau. Moylan better step his game up. Elaine Duenas Udzoa, as I said, is online. Edwin Kitsutu. Hey, Detwin is hanging out with us. There's Pam Duvall says, I forgot Ken LG. Mana says, I didn't. I read Ken LG's name. It's number 2. Ask Peter if he's fallen asleep in the courtroom.
I have actually fallen asleep in the courtroom.
Who hasn't?
Sorry. You know, I'm not one of those people. Because if you go...
Hey, you know what?
Go ahead.
You without sin cast the first stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who hasn't fallen asleep?
So Mana and I got in the jury pool at the same time, and that's the only reason why either one of us stayed awake, because we were in there doing people watching and gossip the entire time. But one of the things that I when you go to court, it's amazing because it's a whole different universe. It's like being in like a king's court, and the judges are like kings and queens and princes and princesses, and everybody sits around kissing their asses. And I'm sitting there going, I'm sorry, I can't buy into this, right? Because I know all of them. We're all like the same age, all of these judges, and I'm just amazing. I'm like, oh yes, sir, yes, oh no, sir.
Did they just call you Your Honor?
Could you bring me the docket? I'll bring in the docket.
They're wearing Zori's under that robe.
Just you crawl towards the court, kneeling, and I'm going, what is all of this pomp and circumstance? You know, they're not wearing anything under their robes.
Prostrate yourself right before the court.
Exactly. And I can't buy into any of that nonsense. Sorry, guys. Tina Garcia, if you're a Republican, then I'm a T Democrat. Why not, Tina? Jolene St. Nicholas Cabrera, online watching. I got Gemma Bustamante, Andy Millard listening from Katy Trail Ice House in Plano, Texas, deep in the free zone. It's good to have you online, Andy. Tell us more about what you're up to. Sam Beanie asking if it's Whopper Wednesday. Sorry, that was only in March. They only do it on months with like 31 days in it. And April is not one of those months. So sorry about that. So, but they've got another thing, like I said, coming up. Brad Woods there and Sandra Rages. Sam Beanie, somebody gave me a rumor here that you were running for office.
Oh, Biba Sandra.
Yeah.
Biba Sam.
I don't know if it's a secret.
Biba.
Well, it's not anymore. But her name is not on the sacred list as published in this morning's
Hey,
PDN.
you know what? You got until, I think, June something to submit something.
Exactly. Why not? Condotel, been a thing in Hawaii forever, pre-Airbnb. Gemma says Belmont is a nice place. Bill Petit says, I love the Belmont. You know, if you say I love the Belmont on a Wednesday, send a girl up to your room. James Howard, what happens on Rojas Street stays in Rojas Street. Perlita Delamar Garcia's online. Tony Uggan, good to have you there. Jerome says CNN and all the other fake news are avoiding Russian collusion comments on the man with orange hair. Yeah, they're staying away from all that stuff, and probably for good reason. It just adds more to the level of confusion around the whole story. Bill Wyndham, Dennis Larson saying good morning. Benny and Tricia and Michael Jordan McCleary saying cafe latte up. Cheers and why not? And Ken Brown from California checking it where they say it's going to be 100 degrees. Possibly. Can you imagine with the heat index what that's going to feel like? Yeah. Now, I got a story out of like I said, Manila's in my head. I don't know why. So I got a story from the Guam alerts on Google. I don't know why they mentioned Guam in this, because it's not a story about Guam. It's a story about how things in the Philippines are getting hot. Everybody's, let's go to Manila.
They're calling you, man.
Manila is blazing hot. Pagasa, their weather service, is warning of April getting warmer. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration is reminding people to be careful enough, especially with April expecting to be a lot hotter. The State Weather Bureau, you're going to have to do a conversion here, Joe. 53 degrees Celsius.
Oh, wow.
They said it recorded 53 degrees Celsius in Dagupan City on March the 17th, the highest heat index so far this year. At around 2 p.m. on the 30th, Pagasa said the heat index in Dagupan was 50 degrees Celsius. Hot weather already took a toll last Monday when the police there received information from Romel De Vera, Chief Tanod of Bergi Pantal, Dagupan City, Pangasinan, about the dead body of Ronald Baracas, the lifeless body of the 41 stay-in construction worker and a resident of Kapantolan, Sual, Pangasinan, was found at the third-floor rooftop of a house that was under renovation. I see. At Sitio, Guam, in Dagupan. The city health office, represented by Benjamin Marshall Bautista, immediately responded and conducted a cursory examination, confirming the death of Baracas, who died of heart failure due to heat stroke.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the cadaver was brought to Abalos Funeral Home in Dagupan City for autopsies and examinations.
Did
and I
you
guess
say
the eventual
53?
53 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Which means what in America?
127 mega degrees.
What? 120?
Mega.
The thrill of the mega world. The
Yeah,
heat of the mega
127,
world.
man.
127. Okay, so that's the
Yes.
heat. That's the heat index that they're talking about. So
that's sous vide already.
Sous vide, yeah, exactly. The guy died of sous
He's sous
vide.
vide.
Oh, my God. We're going straight to hell. All right. It's 6:34 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. We got to get started, find out what the heck is going on. Eventually, we'll talk with one of the Adlet brothers and learn about things getting hotter here on Guam and about some wet weather that's going to be coming. And are you ready for it? You're not going to be ready for it. I want you all to imagine the smell of Lincoln logs. Can you do it? Are you almost there? You can almost smell it. You can smell it in your head. This is a memory that all of us, virtually every boy I know, and some girls.
Reminds me of daycare centers.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the smell of daycare centers. Lincoln logs
and clay.
Oh yeah.
There's the Adlet boys and Lincoln logs. There's a connection. You'll find out here in.
Does it involve the emergency room?
You'll just have to keep listening, for heaven's sakes. It's 6:35 on the Ray Gibson Show. First look at big news and headlines, if she can do it. Here's Mana Silva Tyrant. Up, Mana, what happened?
Well, the governor announced yesterday the unveiling of her 100% child care cost coverage under her new program, rolling it out. The application's available online. It covers child care for children from birth all the way up until 13 years old. Children with special needs will be covered all the way up until 18 years old. The program is valued at $81.5 million. Also at the legislature, a couple of bills were introduced by the Speaker of the legislature that will help possibly provide some relief at the pump. The bills deal with the liquid fuel tax. One of them actually wants to do away with the fuel tax. A public hearing has been scheduled for Thursday. It'll start at 1:30 in the afternoon. And the National Weather Service keeping an eye on a developing system down by Chuk. It's Invest Area 95W. They don't know exactly where it's going to go or how much it will develop, but they do say that it could possibly bring some wet weather this weekend. Those are your headlines right here on The Point.
All right, so here's my prediction. Now that there's all this money that's available for daycares, the daycares are all going to raise their rates. The daycares are all going to raise. There's money there, but if it's business,
and there's no requirement for them to either lower their rates or
none whatsoever, or keep them the same.
What is it called? Program and Watch Your Kids?
I don't know. You know it's good if it's got a Chamorro name.
Yeah.
You know it's good. But anyway, programming something.
I'm not even going to. This is where I just refer to it as the program.
Yeah, the program. So what's the average daycare these days on Guam?
Wow, around $600.
Around $600.
Yeah.
All right. So watch
back
now.
in my day, it was between $350 was the low, for toddlers, and for infants, it was around $425, $450.
Because they require more care and attention. You don't want
and then
them...
lower staff-child ratio.
And yes, that changed a few years ago. They changed the laws,
and so now, oh my goodness, so up to $600 could be more for the younger children.
It will be more because, as I said, all the daycares, they're businesses. They're looking around, going, all right, now we can expand. We're going to be there will be more people that are going to be eligible for this. They will have more money to spend on daycare. Therefore, the prices are going to go up. It is possible that we could see prices as they have in the States. If you're in the States listening to the broadcast right now on the Facebook Live or the YouTube Live, do me a favor, do a quick look up. You can find it on Google on what the median charge for childcare is in your state or in your county or whatever. Just give us an idea of what it is. I did it real quick while you were doing the news, and the median monthly cost for an infant at childcare, I believe this is in Seattle, is $1,499. That's the median. That's the median, guys. That means that there is a whole bunch of others that are much higher than that. Wow. That's right there in the middle. $1,499 for that, and a month. Wow.
Vasectomy's cheaper, Ray.
Right?
A little bit, yeah.
And I don't know.
You would think that there's college prep going on in those daycare centers.
Well, a whole lot more for $1,499.
And that doesn't include meals.
Right?
You got to provide your own meals for your children. And Pampers.
And not supplies. Ramen. Don't bring ramen because they'll scold you. Say there's too much salt in there.
Everyday hot dog, boy. Really? Everyday hot dog and rice.
Every time it's fast food. Every time of me. Sister said 6:39 in the morning. There's the big story, or a bunch of big stories for you right here on The Point. Like I said, we'll talk with one of the Adlet boys here before too much longer. Find out about some weather and their connection to Lincoln logs and what that could mean to you over the course of a long weekend. That's all ahead on the Ray Gibson Show.
Knowledge is power. In just 60 seconds, the Evolve 360 provides you a unique experience and a detailed report of your body composition for you to take action to improve your health. The Evolve 360, turning information into inspiration to live a balanced lifestyle. Evolve 360 is exclusively at the Take Care Wellness Center. Go to Simply Book Me or call 671-646-6956 extension 7260 for more information and to schedule an appointment with a member of the Take Care Wellness team.
Back at it again with the Lenten season menu with Mezcla, giving you a variety of food you can enjoy and pick from, like the fish tacos, spicy buttered shrimp, parrotfish escabeche, lobster pad capral pasta, crab crusted Chilean sea bass, and more. There you have options. Offered at Hagåtña location for lunch and dinner only at Mezcla. For reservations, call 671-479-2652. What are you waiting for? Let's go celebrate the Lenten season with Mezcla.
Hafaday, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Oh, is it time for the traffic? I'm sorry, I was admiring the artwork that we have from Jeff over at Pirates Cove this morning. The sun making its way up, as it did about 6:15 this morning, coming up earlier and earlier these days, making the days, what's the word? How do I want to describe it? Hotter earlier is what's happening with the days that we've got these days. A couple of other images that we might look at a little bit later on. In the meantime, we'll take a look at the traffic map and see what's going on. Doesn't look like there's much happening up in the Datadoo and Jigo area. Maybe just a trickle of traffic into Anderson Air Force Base intersection traffic all the way down into the downtown Hagåtña area. Central Guam traffic, Route 4, Route 8. Don't see a whole lot of dogging out on Route 8 just yet, but you know it's going to be coming soon here. And then we've got almost no traffic at the intersection of Big Navy and 2. Isn't that amazing? What, Joe? What?
No, yesterday you said there's dogging in and dogging out traffic. And I just remembered it right now.
You're laughing in a memory.
Dogging in and dogging out.
Dogging in, dogging out. Yeah, all right. So some of you might be listening and going, what would, especially if you're in the States or just new to the Guam and don't understand the terminology here. The lingo is dogging out. You'll understand dogging out if you were ever traveling, particularly northbound on Route 8 and you go by Payless. They put an intersection there and there's, there's traffic, red, yellow, green, whatever. But everybody wants to park right in front of the Payless. Everybody wants to park right under the infusion sign, and we'll just stop the car and wait until somebody eventually pulls out and waits for them. So traffic backs up behind them, which leads to traffic backing up out onto Route 8.
Yeah.
And nobody, it's like nobody ever freaks out about it. Everybody's like, yeah, okay, I'll just wait until you can go ahead and go inside. That's what I refer to as dogging out traffic. Dogging in, maybe I shouldn't refer too much about on the radio, but you'll see that there. You'll see that over at the McMobile that they've got down the street. Maybe over at Benson's every once in a while. Big buildings, lots of merchandise, lots of people, but no parking lot that they've to speak of out there. At any rate, who else do I got to take care of? Anybody in particular? That's your right now traffic here on The Point.
What's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Get a personal loan for that summer vacation or to pay off those long overdue bills. Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance In Hagåtña, now at the old Nanbo Insurance Building at 475-4545, Upper Tumon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, here to serve you.
All right, 6:44 in the morning, and time for me to tell you more amazing facts about the 2022 Infiniti QX60. Now, I'm reading from the prepared script that I've gotten from the guys over at Nissan. Completely redesigned from the ground up. More than 1.5 million hours have been invested in research and development on the all-new Infiniti QX60, all with the goal of bringing luxury and life seamlessly together in mind. If you want to be part of the Guamanian oligarchy, you need to be driving an Infiniti QX60. Best premium SUV, Infiniti InTouch 12.3-inch interactive display. Haptics everywhere. It feels like you pressed a button even though there's no button to press. How do they do that? I don't know. But the guys over at Infiniti have figured it out. There's a whole bunch that I could tell you about. Horsepower, torque, miles per gallon, that kind of thing. But for me, it comes down to the amazing gizmos that they've put into the car, including air conditioning for your doggin. Don't believe me? Test drive today at Nissan.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Currently in the midst of a love-hate relationship with the YouTube stream. I think it's great. James Howard out there, Rico B hanging out with the bad boys, John Paulson, Nicholas, Gemma Bustamante over there, and Norma Jean Santos. Now, this is the part about YouTube that I don't like. I cannot right-click. You can't right-click on somebody and then, check out the profile to see, check for hotness, right?
A little more private there.
Yeah. This is a bummer, bro. It's making me crazy. Know what I mean? 6:45 in the morning, 888-825-888-TALK. Items in the table of contents that we've got here. Is that Landon or Brandon? One of the guys is on the line. So let me get to this before I get to items in the table of contents, and I will express a degree of disappointment, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that. Ray being disappointed about something on the program.
No.
It's true. It's true, Real Joe. And here's the thing, is we have been kind of minus tourists on Guam for like the last 2 years, right? They shut everything down, instituted the quarantine. If you wanted to come to Guam, you had to stay for 2 weeks at the Dusatani or whatever. And as pleasant as that sounds, for a lot of people, the accommodations were wonderful. Food, for 2 weeks, and you had to have your friends like hustle you, smuggle beer and
I remember.
You remember all of that, yeah. Let's not forget in the election time. But we've had 2 years to take care of something, and nothing has been done. I'll explain later, but in the meantime, let's get a quick blast on weather. Guys over at the Joint Information Center yesterday sent out the blurb that we need to be prepared for wet weather over the weekend, something that you and I touched on briefly the other day. Good morning, Landon. Landon is online. Good morning, Landon. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm halfway through my first pot of coffee for the day, so not too bad.
Oh, I've got a couple of gulps in me so far as well. It'll be all right. Now, as far as your day is concerned, are we going to be consumed with keeping an eye on 95W, trying to work out what it's going to be doing over the next couple of days?
Well, I hope people aren't too consumed by it, but it's something that we're definitely watching. And as I'm getting up and watching things this morning on the satellite from home, it's definitely not a healthy looking system. And so that's one of the key things that I was looking for the last 48 hours is, will it start to spin up and consolidate as some of the more aggressive models were suggesting? And that has definitely not been the case. We're looking at a pretty heavily sheared tropical disturbance down there, still deep south of Chuuk, maybe southwest of Chuuk now. There is a present low level circulation, but it's cut off from the deep convection, which is sheared off to the west. And what we want for these things to develop in a healthy environment is we want that convection to be centered right over that low-level circulation, have a nice vertical column of convection, showers, and thunderstorms around that low level. We're not seeing that right now. And so that's good for implications of intensification in the near term. Forecast models do show it continuing west-northwest for the next several days with gradual intensification as it comes into a better, more appropriate environment for growth, but right now that is not the case. So this is where we're still in that wait and see stage. We're still waiting to see exactly when it's going to take off, when it's going to be in a better, healthier environment for development. Again,
well, from the sounds of it, by the time it starts to, if it develops, by that time it'll be well past Guam.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the case. Some of the models still track it toward Yap and then up into the Philippine Sea with development to a tropical depression, a tropical storm. Again, well west of us, but with those eastern periphery of the system bringing showers and gusty winds to Guam over the weekend. So it's a timing thing right now. Right now, the time is ticking while it's still trying to get its act together in the deep south.
So what you're saying is it's going to get even breezier and maybe wetter over the next few days. I don't know, because we've already got good breezes. I mean, I don't have the gizmo at my house, but I'm pretty sure I was sitting in about 20-mile-an-hour gusts yesterday watching my covers flap around.
Yeah, I believe we were gusting up close to 30 miles per hour a couple times yesterday, and so that's going to be the theme for Guam, specifically at least, what is today? Today's Wednesday. At least Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe into Friday, we're going to see those elevated trade winds. Dry trade winds continue through the end of this week, and so that's also part of the problem inhibiting this 95W to our south. We have a lot of dry air across our region. Red flag warning still in effect for the high fire danger across Guam. So it's going to continue until the rains start, and it's a matter of timing when and if that rain reaches Guam with this disturbance. So wait and see.
10 away from the top of the hour. Landon Adlet from the National Weather Service online here this morning, and read a story just a few minutes ago about from Pagasa in the Philippines where they're warning people to be very, very careful. April looks like it's going to be a very, very hot month. They're already seeing heat indexes up in excess of 120 degrees in Manila. Isn't that crazy?
Oof. Yeah, that's definitely happening over there. This is their summer months, and so I've also seen a lot of traffic on social media. Ever since Super Typhoon Haiyan struck the Philippines a number of years ago, people are very sensitive to weather impacts and also weather threats and rumors of weather in the Philippines. And so every time there's a spin up in the models or disturbance in the force, there's a lot of panic, there's a lot of worry and speculation in the Philippines. And so that's where agencies like the Weather Service and Pagasa, we have to be putting out regular routine information that people can rely on. And so to dispel rumors from reality.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing because technology literally in the palm of your hand now. You turn me onto my radar, and I use that every single day when I try to figure out when's a good time to go out and run or hanging out over at the beach, or whether it's going to rain today or something like that. Now, one of the last things that we've got time here to talk about is a connection between you and your brother Brandon and Lincoln Logs, and something fantastic that is coming our way in just a couple of months. So tell me a little bit about your record-breaking attempt here.
Well, this is a lifelong dream of ours, and if anybody listening is familiar with Lincoln Logs, this is like the wooden building block toy counterpart to Legos.
Absolutely love them. I can smell it. I can smell it in my brain right now. I can smell it, the little paper canister it comes in.
Distinct smell that I just grew up loving. It's almost like Play-Doh or something similar. But we took a love of Lincoln Logs growing up at our grandmother's house. She would raise us while our mother was working, rotating 12-hour shifts as a nursing home. And so we love nothing more than pulling out that box of logs and playing with them that our uncles and aunts grew up with in the 50s and 60s. And so we latched onto them. We collected them for years, but just in the last several years, we really wanted to pursue our goal of building a world record tower for height, but also for size. And so we're looking at previous world records that have been set, and the current records stand at 18 feet tall and 37,000 blocks large. And we want to smash both of those. And so we have the means to do it. Now we're just working up the logistics to make it happen. And we put out a press release.
Wait. You're going over numbers way too fast. You're going over numbers way too fast. How tall is the record?
The current record is 18 feet tall.
18 feet. And how many logs involved in creating that?
Well, that one was a very unimpressive structure by Lincoln Log standards. It was a very hollowed out tower, and they were just building merely for height. So they reached 18 feet. They were able to get some pictures and get a measurement for Guinness right before it collapsed, because it was just a hollow, small structure, very insignificant. And Brandon and I, we just roll our eyes at it. It's like, really, that's it? So we've actually done better than that.
Oh, my God, you're Lincoln Log snobs. They're Lincoln Log snobs. Are you catching this?
Lincoln Log.
Ray, let's get our tool belts, man, and chip in this, man.
We're perfectionists. But there's another record. The previous record for size was 17,000 blocks, and there was an attempt last year. and I'm waiting to see the certification, but raised the record to 37,000 blocks. We're going to smash that. Once they have certified that 37,000 block record, we hope to smash it considerably. We have the means to do it. We have the venue that's going to be at the Agana Shopping Center on June 16th, 17th, and 18th. And we're going to scrape the ceiling. We can't be a skyscraper, but we'll be a ceiling scraper with this tower. And it's not going to be something that's going to fall with ease. We want to make sure it's going to stand for several days. We had a test tower in my house. It reached 18 feet and it peaked at the ceiling. It stood for 2 weeks, and we had 2 small earthquakes back in September that kind of bumped things like it typically does on Guam, and it stood solid. It took me an hour to tear it down because of it. That
okay, so you did a good job with the architecture and the design. This one here, according to the press release that I have, is going to be built to look like the Willis Tower?
That's correct. We want to do a scaled version of it. Based on the dimensions we're building with, it would scale to about 20 feet, but we want to go a little bit more than 20 feet. So we're going to stretch it vertically, but we're going to follow a Willis Tower, or more may know, the Sears Tower in Chicago, one of the tallest skyscrapers in the United States. We want to build that building, and it's a very easy structure as far as architectural standards for Lincoln logs, because you can't have curves and angles other than right degree angles. And so we're going to have a blast with this. It's going to be a very solid structure. It's going to be huge. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it because it's just going to be such a enormous tower by Lincoln log standards.
6:55 in the morning. This is really going to be happening. They're going to set a world record for Lincoln logs here on Guam. How do you get your hands on as many of the little Lincoln log pieces as you'll need?
Oh, that's a whole other story in itself. We've had some.
Have you been smuggling in Lincoln logs here? Have you made the mailman give him a hernia from picking up boxes and boxes of Lincoln logs?
I will say United's been a big assist in this, because with all the flying with my job, I'm now I think Premier 1K, so I get all this extra baggage space. So we've ended up bringing our entire collection from the States as well as more. Plus, we ship from a manufacturer. We ordered a number of sets from the manufacturer and had freight forwarded over to Guam. But I went to the States for a week back in March, and I had about 140 pounds of luggage. 125 pounds was logs.
Was logs for the project. It's a fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity, so you're going to, and I'm a big fan of Habitat for Humanity, and I can't imagine a more fitting partner to work with. They talk about building homes for people, and here we are with the Lincoln logs. And just one other point here. It occurs to me that it was kind of cheating when Lincoln logs came out with the plastic roof. You feel the same way?
Yeah. I don't care about the plastic parts, so we discard those. We put those in a kind of a case for not to be used. We only use the wooden blocks, the building ones. But Habitat for Humanity, the quiz night events, those are our favorite events for fundraising.
Yep.
And so we want to really help recover some of the costs lost for 4 quiz nights lost because of COVID. And so we aim to partner with Habitat, and hopefully they can get the fundraising aspects together very soon. We can start getting sponsorships and also other donations, because we really want to help them out. And it's a building theme. We want to build a tower while they build their houses.
Amen to that.
So
and have you contacted Guinness?
Are the Guinness people aware?
Contacted Guinness. They are aware. We're not going to be. They have adjudicators. They can come, but that comes at a cost of, I think it starts around $12,000. So we're not going to go the adjudicated route. We would love to have the adjudicator here on Guam to be a part of the build and actually certify then and there on site. We can get the certification immediately.
Maybe they could do a proxy.
I get a hold of Kaz Endo. Kaz was a part. In fact, Kaz and I together, we did that Nissan event, the one where the most Nissans in a row, and we did this big commute from John F. Kennedy down to the Paseo, and that set the world record for the longest parade of Nissan automobiles. automobiles ever. We beat out somebody in Dallas. So we got that. And they were able to do that without flying out any Guinness people. So there's a way to do that. Kaz will know, and if you need his contact information, beat me and I'll get that to you. At any rate, listen, thanks very much for the information on the weather. Yeah, it is a little bit hotter this time of year, and that's just the way it is. And so watch out for the rainy stuff that might be coming in. June 16, 17, and 18 is when Landon and Brandon will be at the Agana Shopping Center trying to put together their version of the Willis Tower with Lincoln Logs. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, find us on social media. Tower for Humanity.
Tower for Humanity.
Social media.
All right, gotcha. Well, anything else that you need, the answer is always going to be yes. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, groovy. 6:59 and change. One of the twins, Landon and Brandon, I could spend the next 60 seconds talking about how much of a better place Guam is because those two lads have chosen to move to Guam, and I recognize the incredible talent, friendliness, and driving these guys. The first time I met them, in fact, I can't remember which one it was, but we were doing something over at the Hyatt, and one of the boys was standing at a timpani, and I said, "Oh, this is great. From now on, for the rest of the night, every time I say something important like dinner is served, somebody would be out there with the timpani. Dinner is served." And now time for Fox News Live here on 93.3 The Point. We've got Monticello Tyron coming up with big news and headlines. On the other side of that, Jerry Roberts has got the extra point as we get into an action-packed, fun-filled, fact-filled hour of the Ray Gibson Show that starts with this from the Fox Radio Network.
The U.S. policy hasn't changed. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki making it clear the U.S. is still not calling for regime change in Russia, despite the images of murdered civilians in areas near Ukraine's capital.
We're certainly committed to continuing our historic support of Ukraine, whether that is military assistance, humanitarian assistance, economic assistance.
Psaki also says it's not in the interest of the U.S. or the national security of the American people to go to war with Russia. Ukraine's president painting a graphic picture in a video addressed to the UN Security Council, appealing for justice over war crimes.
As Ukraine's civilians emerged from hiding to scenes of apocalypse, bodies of civilians who appear to have been burned, corpses lying in the middle of the street with their hands bound behind their backs, makeshift mass graves with hands and feet sticking out, and what looks like a child's pink flip-flop next to one of them. President Zelensky warned that the UN must act on these crimes or dissolve itself.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. The White House COVID team urging lawmakers to get busy on more money during a briefing where masking came up again.
Outgoing White House COVID response team coordinator Jeff Zients said Congress needs to pass emergency COVID money now for vaccines, testing, and more.
Time is of the essence, so we urge Congress to move promptly on the $10 billion emergency funding package developed in the Senate.
Zients called this only a start, adding that he's disappointed there's no funding for global vaccine efforts in the bill. Several airlines have said it's time to end the mask mandate on public transportation and end pre-travel testing requirements for international travelers.
No, there are no plans to change the international travel requirements at this point.
The Health and Human Services Secretary said they are creating an interagency council to study long COVID.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. A third man in custody in connection with the mass shooting in Sacramento over the weekend, but so far none are accused of being the shooters. America is listening to Fox News.
Here at Nimitz Towers, we're a large-scale rental complex. We have over 20 employees, and when the pandemic hit, our concerns were people not being able to work, loss of revenue and income, and luckily, due to PPP, we were able to keep all our employees employed, working. We were able to provide services, maintenance, and cleanliness for the building and the operation. Also, the rental assistance program helped us stay solvent during the pandemic, helped us keep the attendance in place.
We're thankful for Congressman San Nicolas advocating for these funds on our behalf in Washington, D.C.
If you have any concerns about any federal issues, feel free to contact your congressman's office.
Thank you for the federal funds.
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 Thank you for the federal funds. Thank you for the federal funds.
Paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
A freeze on federal student loan payments is reportedly set to be extended through the end of August. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Students are suffering under a huge amount of debt, and to extend the moratorium is a good thing. But of course, I believe the president should go further and forgive $50,000 in student loans permanently.
Student loan payments had been set to resume May 1st. Parts of the South enduring yet another round of severe weather. At least one death reported in eastern Texas, where trees fell on several homes. Tens of thousands without power from Texas to Georgia, and a risk of tornadoes from Mississippi to South Carolina before the storm threat continues tomorrow into Alabama and Tennessee. Tiger Woods is back, or at least that's the plan.
The 15-time PGA champion saying that as of now, he'll be playing at the Masters tournament.
Well, as of right now, I feel like I am going to play.
The announcement, coming courtesy of audio from the Masters, was somewhat expected, as Woods said on Sunday that it would be a, quote, game-time decision. Tiger hasn't played in a PGA Tour event for more than 17 months after suffering serious injuries in a car crash back in February of 2021, where it was reported that he almost had his leg amputated.
Fox's Mike Gunzelman. The Masters begins Thursday at Augusta National in Georgia. Practice rounds were canceled today by those violent storms down south. Technical difficulties for NASA. The dress rehearsal for a mega moon rocket now on hold until at least this weekend. Launch managers tried Sunday and yesterday to load nearly 1 million gallons of fuel into the rocket, but the test was stalled by technical issues. The countdown test is the last major milestone before the rocket's launch debut, possibly in June, when a crew would loop around the moon but not land before returning to Earth. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate, put cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want, with your Visa debit card. Brothers put branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
Back at it again with the Lenten season menu with Mezcla, giving you a variety of food you can enjoy and pick from, like the fish tacos, spicy buttered shrimp, parrotfish escabeche, lobster pad capral pasta, crab crusted Chilean sea bass, and more. There you have options. Offered at Hagåtña location for lunch and dinner only at Mezcla. For reservations, call 671-479-2652. What are you waiting for? Let's go celebrate the Lenten season with Mezcla.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Off a day, it's 7:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. The governor announced yesterday the start of a program that will provide some financial support for families who need help with childcare. The Child Care Assistance Program, aimed at helping thousands of Guam's families. The program paying up to 100% of monthly child care costs, and after adjustments to the monthly income threshold, even more families will qualify for this aid. The program will cover children from birth to 13 years old. Children with special needs may also be eligible up to 18 years old. That program valued at $81.5 million. The application period opened up yesterday. You can get a copy of that application on guamchildcare.com. Meanwhile, 5 other programs will also be launched in line with this one. One would provide financial assistance to families which care for children at home. This couldn't come at a better time with gas prices at an all-time high. A bill introduced at the legislature that would nix the fuel tax and hopefully provide some relief at the fuel pump. Gas prices this week were at $5.79 a gallon for regular grade. As reported in the PDN, Speaker Therese Terlahi's Bill 260 would remove an extra 4 cents per gallon tax on gas. That tax took effect in 2017. While her other bill, 261, would remove the liquid fuel tax altogether, which collects about 15 cents per gallon. A public hearing's been scheduled for both of those bills. It's scheduled for 1:30 in the afternoon on Thursday. Guam's liquid fuel tax supports the Guam Highway Fund and several other government operations that that was included in a fiscal note for both of those bills. The Speaker points out, though, that federal funds are also a way to offset reductions in money for road repairs. We'll have more news right after this.
Just in time for Lent, it's our delicious BK Big Fish Sandwich. 100% white Alaskan pollock, breaded with crispy panko, topped with sweet tartar sauce, tangy pickles on top of a warm toasted brioche bun. Also available, our Impossible Whopper, 100% Whopper, 0% beef. Enjoy your Lenten season with French fries and a refreshing brewed sweet or unsweetened tea. We're ready to serve you this Lenten season, now available at BK Hagutnya, Tumon Bay, Micronesia Mall, and at the airport. BK your way.
Bail has been set at $15,000 for a 35-year-old man who is charged with raping 2 girls. Justin James Tyron charged with 4 counts each of first and second-degree criminal sexual conduct. A 13-year-old girl had reported that she was raped by the suspect since she was 9 years old and claims that she was assaulted at least 40 times. A second victim, a 12-year-old girl, reported that the suspect also sexually assaulted her between the ages of 9 and 11. A witness told officers that the first victim told her that the suspect had raped the victim, but the witness admitted to authorities that she didn't know what to believe. The witness told police that she didn't think that the suspect would hurt the children before she admitted that another man had raped one of the girls when she was only 4. The witness allegedly admitted that the rape involving the other man was never reported, adding that maybe the child was traumatized by that incident. No charges have been filed against the witness. Also from the Guam Daily Post, a man accused of sexually assaulting a woman at Ipao Beach Park was released from the Department of Corrections. 36-year-old Ego Pius was placed under house arrest and under electronic monitoring. He was also ordered to stay away from his alleged victim. He has since pleaded not guilty to his charges. The victim reported that she was sexually assaulted and couldn't move, adding that her body went numb before she blacked out. And another man accused of breaking into a Harmon residence and raping a woman known to him earlier this year has been granted his request to get out of jail and also placed under electronic monitoring. 28-year-old Robbie Naras was released on a $10,000 personal recognizance bond. He was also ordered to stay away from his victim. According to court documents, the victim woke up to the suspect raping her while the suspect was holding a pair of scissors against her lower back. And the National Weather Service keeping an eye on a system developing over by Chuk. They do say it's expected to bring some wet weather over the weekend, although it is too soon to tell how far, where it will go exactly, and how far it would strengthen. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
I'm looking for something, because you'd mentioned it going into the newscast about 9 new symptoms of COVID-19, and I thought I'd seen something like that on Twitter, and I can't find it. Do you have that in front of you? One of them is feeling sick or being sick. I'm serious. One of them is literally being sick or feeling sick is a symptom of COVID-19.
Okay, shortness of breath. I thought that was already.
I always thought that was in there.
Lack of energy, feeling tired.
Monday.
Muscle aches and pain. I thought that was already in there.
Agree.
Unusual headache.
Mm-hmm.
Sore throat. Stuffy nose or runny nose. Diarrhea. Loss of appetite. And feeling sick or just being sick.
Right. How is it? Wait a second.
That's my life.
That's like every day you wake up with at least one of those symptoms, don't you? And just depending on what you ate last night or who you were hanging out with, maybe one too many with me. I don't know. Just you wake up with one of those feelings, and that's now the COVID-19. Is it just got that feeling like it's time to end the kabuki here, the whole thing. And that was another conversation we were having while the news was playing. Is whether or not they need to lift the public health emergency. You think that maybe they just need to get rid of the idiotic mandates and restrictions, right? She can have her...
Keep the public health emergency because it does serve a purpose, apparently.
According to them.
Lift your restrictions and maybe that would settle some nerves. Or switch it, instead of making it a public health emergency, declare it an economic emergency.
But you can't declare it an economic emergency when you've got $1 billion in the bank, A, and B, we've got a surplus of about $60 million, according to the CRERs. So much to the point where Therese Terlai says maybe now's a good time to get rid of eliminate the liquid fuels tax. And almost immediately they get a hold of Les Carlson, and Les naturally poo-poos the idea. So, no, need that money. The police department needs that money. So we have to let people at public health go.
Well, that's his job to say.
I know.
That's exactly his job to do that.
Yes, I agree. So here it comes before we get to the weather. Ladies and gentlemen, the hate. The hate. I don't know who put this together, but it's the hate already for Chris Duenas. They got a picture of Chris and resolution 291 by the numbers, and they go on to describe the recklessness of the idea. It will impact 15,000 people that are currently getting the emergency SNAP monies, and it's not just the 15,000 families who stand to lose emergency SNAP benefits because of Senator Chris Duenas' resolution 291. 45,000 estimated number of children. We need the sad music. Where's the sad music? 45,000 children will be impacted by Chris Duenas' reckless resolution 291. $2.3 million is the amount of money, monthly emergency aid for SNAP recipients that will be lost because of resolution 291. And then it comes down to one. The number of bills Senator Chris Duenas has passed this term. Impressive, it says. Do you feel the hate? Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Embrace
I'm feeling it, man.
Embrace it. Come to the dark side. Come to the dark side, my Padawan. One, the number of bills Senator Duenas has passed this session. So there it is, 45,000 children, 15,000 families, $2.3 million a month, all because of somebody that has only managed to pass one bill the entire term of the 36th Guam legislature. Now, there's people out there that have already in their head come up with the top five number of the top five potential candidates over at Adelup that put this meme together. Or maybe it was all five of them. Maybe it was just everybody in the Democrat Party. And somebody says, oh, yeah, we got to make everybody feel bad about the kids. Got to put the kids in there. And maybe they should have done it the other way. Maybe they should have done $2.3 million and then 45,000 children, 15,000 families, and then put the one at the bottom. Kind of a reverse, like a funnel, right? So it would have come down to it. Maybe it would have been more impressive that way if you'd have started with the higher number. At any rate, there we go. 7:15 in the morning. Feel the hate. Why don't you? Here it comes. The weather, mostly sunny. Daytime highs today about 88 degrees. Winds up to 21 miles an hour. Gusting its high today is 25 miles an hour. The heat index will make it feel like it's 94 degrees today. But frankly, it's still cooler outside the house than it will be inside of the house. Mostly sunny in the forecast for tomorrow. 20% chance of rain. Careful with the burning if you need to do it. Red flag warnings are back in effect right now. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:33. The one good sunset. Thank you, Chris Duenas, and your resolution 291. I'll be right back.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Hoffaday Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Hoffaday Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
My family and I trust the FHP Health Center because of our connection with the healthcare providers. The services are mostly under one roof, enabling a one-stop for all of my family's medical, urgent care, imaging, dental, vision, laboratory, and pharmacy needs. My family and I trust FHP Health Center. You can too. FHP accepts most insurance plans, TRICARE, Medicare, Medicaid, and self-pay patients. For an appointment, call 671-646-5825, press 1, or takecareasia.com. FHP Health Center, our island, your clinic.
Welcome to the oligarchy, ladies and gentlemen, portions of which are brought to you by the guys over at American President Lines. I don't have a yacht. I have a ship. Carl Meyer is my ship guy. And he's out there. He sent me a picture, as a matter of fact, of what he was up to. I think I posted the thing up on the screen.
He's on that boat, huh? The antidote?
Heridote.
Oh, Heridote.
Heridote. I can't remember the name of it. At any rate, good to have him online. 7:17 in the morning. Portions of the program brought to you by Subway. Eat Fresh, Refresh. The new fresh smelts are available waiting for you. Your favorite breads and your favorite meats topped with a triple load of cheese, all toasted to warm, gooey perfection. Try the ham and cheese melt, the tuna melt, or steak and cheese melt to get started. Best of all, you can make any footlong into a fresh melt at Subway. Eat Fresh.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
7:18. Can you feel the hate? You just want to take a bath in it, don't you? Don't you want to just get the whole thing into your system? It's strong with
the
these
most
guys.
hate per capita right here on the island of Guam.
Right on, bro. Right on. I feel it. 888-8255-888-TALK. I was going to post a picture because we were talking about the oligarchy and how fun our oligarchy here is on Guam. And Real Joe mentioned something about, never mind the yachts, can we walk tigers? And so I've got a picture. I can't put it up on the screen right now, but I got a picture of Ismail with a tiger.
A big one.
A big tiger, yes. It's bigger than he is. Hard to imagine that anything could possibly be larger than him. But in this case, it's an absolute track. It's truth. It's out there. I'll see if I can get it up on the screen before too much longer. 7:18 in the morning. So we've had the Fox News and then the Mana News. Jerry Roberts going to be coming in here in just a little bit. Tell us what the heck is going on in the Extra Point. I should also take a look at what's happening on the markets. Don't have all of the numbers up just yet, but I can give you the numbers on the commodities. West Texas crude, we watched that one there because it links into the price of electricity. Was a couple of days ago at $99. Today it's back over 100, but only by 42 cents. I suppose we might be able to eat that, but it's still not 85, which is the number the guys over at CCU and the Guam Power Authority are looking at. TAP is trading at $110.45, so it looks like it's back to trading in kind of a narrow range there. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be enough of a drop to do anything for prices at the pump. And just because I'm infatuated with the name of it, Brazilian Lula oil is trading at $115 today. So we got that interesting news on the markets. S&P 500 off by 57 points. It closed at 4,525. The NASDAQ lost 328 points to close at 14,204. Dow Jones Industrial Average shy 280 points. They closed at 34,641. Other worldwide markets not doing so bad. The FTSE is up by 54. Nikkei green by 51. Watching the Hang Seng clear 462 points today. Hang Seng closes at over 22,000. The Shanghai Index at 3,282. That's up by 30 points. And the VIX, what I like to refer to as the misery index, is up by 2.46. Watch the DAX losing some points here, about 93, just shy of 100 points for them. We'll see where the markets ended up tomorrow. Big winners on the NASDAQ. Like looking at that. Automatic data, Verisk Analysis, Exelon Corp, American Electric, and CGen Incorporated. There's a couple of losers on the markets. Baidu, Applied Materials, Moderna, Datadog, and Marvell Technologies are on the bottom end of the NASDAQ. As I said, looking at the commodities, oil at $101 now. This is an updated figure, $101.38. Natural gas, I don't care about that number. Gold. No, maybe I do care about natural. You know what I'm concerned with? No, it's LP gas.
Methane.
No, not that. No,
okay.
No fart jokes. But LP gas. Does anybody remember when you could go and get a 20-gallon can for about $30?
Oh yeah, now it's like 65 or something.
Dude, I called one of the companies yesterday because a buddy gave me all of his gas outdoor cooking stuff, and I'm like, wow, cool. I get. So I called.
But you don't need a tank. You just go and purchase it, and then you use it and replace it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but I need to get the first tank.
No, you don't.
What?
You don't need the first tank.
Okay, so I called.
You just go and get a tank.
I get a tank. Okay,
yeah.
from where?
From
like
Benson,
the
Benson
boonies?
has it.
Benson
Home
Benson
Depot?
didn't have any yesterday.
Home Depot?
I'll check today.
Okay, check
okay,
Home
so you
Depot.
just get you don't have to buy a new tank.
You get the tank. It'll cost you about $65.
Yeah.
But it used to be a lot cheaper for those little things.
It was
back in the day. So I called one of the companies, and a guy says, "Yeah, we'll be tell you what, we got them in stock." I said, "Great, how much for the 20 pounds?" He said, "Something like $150 or something like that."
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Don't go there.
Ray.
Go to Home Depot.
Okay.
And then you'll find the tank right. Or actually, you go pay for it, and then they get the tank for you.
It's
outside.
expensive now, yeah.
But it's pricey.
And then you use up the gas, and then you
take it back, and then all you got to do is you pay for the gas that's in the tank that you replace it with. Okay, could I call my mayor, which I did. I said, hey, Mayor Paco.
Does your mayor hate you?
No, yes. Yes, he does.
Him again, Mayor.
Block his number.
No, because I'm kind of so I'm just thinking that maybe like somewhere in the village might be somebody that has a tank that they're not using that I can go.
You don't need need it.
But I need to replace it when I go to the Home Depot. Don't I need to?
No, you just say, I'm here. I'm going to buy an LPS.
Yeah, you start
Let's
fresh,
go today.
man.
Let's
Okay, I'll go with
walk
you.
me through this process, because otherwise I got a feeling I'm going to spend way too much money
I know how the process.
on getting all of this stuff. All right, gold at $1,926. Real Joe, the Bitcoin number for today?
43,000.
43,000 is the number. So anyways, I've got my mare then on a wild goose chase.
Yeah,
looking-
you know when
looking
his phone
for
rings
used-
and it's you, it says, do not answer.
Do not answer.
That radio guy, 7:23 in the morning. You better answer the phone, otherwise I'll bug your daughter over at the governor's office. I got her number on speed dial as well. 7:23 in the morning. Jerry Roberts coming your way with the extra point. I thought there might be a couple other businessy things that I can go through today, like encouraging everybody to get some kind of a nap. But I do have information on how you can live longer. Do you want to live? How's life? Taken forever. That's how life is these days. If you would like to live longer, details later on, maybe this hour, on a way that you can do that. And they're doing studies on this and finding it is like remarkably good for you to do this particular habit. A lot of people doing it these days, and so we'll help out. Jerry Roberts in the studio with the extra point coming up in just a second. And I have not gotten my hands on it yet, but have you seen the Forbes' 36th annual World Billionaire list? No, you have not. You know why? Because we're not in it. And we just, you know what? We'd thumb through it, and we'd just be filled with hate and rage and jealousy at these people. I mean, you get somebody like Elon Musk. What did he spend to get those 9.2 shares of Twitter?
$3 billion.
He spent $3 billion.
Someone said, I saw that they referred to Musk throwing billions around kind of like poker chips.
Exactly. And this guy I think he's already made the money back.
Probably.
I think he's already made that money back. The 36th annual World Billionaires list, there are 2,668 billionaires in the world population right now. 236 of them are newcomers, and if that number is it feels high to you, it's actually not. Last year's record was 2,755 billionaires, and there were 493 new names that were added to the list last year. So this has not been. Sorry to say that maybe we play that sad music again. This is not a good time for rich people. What with all of the oligarchs in Russia getting their yachts confiscated and their Swiss accounts frozen. My goodness, it just how you kind of want to go and do a fundraiser for them, right? And we'll build a tower out of Lincoln logs and make some money for these guys. 7:25 in the morning. We'll go over some of that and the other interesting information for you a little bit later on. In the meantime, we've got to get into Jerry Roberts and this morning's Extra Point being brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. Jerry?
The world of retail is changing, especially in America's large cities. Some of those changes will make shopping less convenient than it's been in the past. Some of these changes may wind up in Guam. We'll talk about that next on The Extra Point.
This is the sound of connecting with nature, connecting to each other, and the sound of connecting with your finances. With First Hawaiian Bank's new mobile app, you have the power to connect with your finances like never before. With real-time tracking on your financial goals and tailored updates on your accounts, First Hawaiian Bank is putting the power of connection at your fingertips. First Hawaiian Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
It's not easy being a retailer on the mainland, particularly in city environments. The justice system is broken. Laws have reduced penalties for theft. Police rarely investigate shoplifting cases, and prosecutors don't want to expend resources on them. Bad guys often go free. Store employees are instructed to let criminals walk out with merchandise. If they attempt to stop them and there's a scuffle with the thief getting injured, there's always some lawyer willing to sue the retailer. The stores figure they save money just letting people take stuff out the door. In the past year, more and more retailers have resorted to locking up their goods. Now, we've seen some of this in Guam, where certain items have been in glass display cases, which are opened by getting a key from the manager. And across the mainland, stores are locking up entire aisles now. This, of course, has created a lot of pushback from customers who hate the inconvenience, though they understand the need for it. That said, the list of items being locked up now is long. This creates more inconvenience, and store sales have taken a hit to the tune of 15 to 25% because buyers want to avoid the hassle and the waiting. The problem is not just the random shoplifter. It's organized criminal gangs that target products they can steal in bulk and easily resell online. Some of these gangs are netting millions of dollars in profits, and when things got tougher to steal in the inner city, then they moved to the suburbs and then now to the rural areas. I mean, there's no store in America that is presumably safe from this. Of course, shoplifting is an expense that has to be recovered, and that means higher prices for you and me. According to industry experts, nearly 70% of retailers reported a rise in organized retail crime last year, contributing to theft and losses of as much as $70 billion. To counter customer inconvenience and still prevent things from ending up in the hands of those who take without paying, the retail sector has turned to the tech industry for new solutions. Walgreens and other big chains have installed simple technology in the form of electronic help buttons, which sit on top of those locked cases. Pushing the button makes it flash and sends a signal to store employees who can then come over and see what you're looking for. Walmart began testing a new type of locked case this year that can be opened by any employee with a smartphone. That eliminates the need to track down the employee who has the right key to open the case. Other retailers are experimenting with another new approach where they give shoppers the ability to unlock the cases themselves by using their phone to give the store, their number or loyalty card or permission to scan their face. Then it monitors what they take out of the case. If they don't want to do any of this, they can wait for the employee to find the manager who has the key and then come over and unlock the case. Now, would you give your phone number or other personal info in order to open a case yourself? Would you give them a scan of your face? A lot of people would say, yeah, I'll do that. Some stores are using a combination of cameras and artificial intelligence to measure how many items a shopper removes from a case, how long the door remains open, and how many times they return to the store that day. If suspicious behavior is detected, an alarm goes off and store employees are notified. Now, a lot of this stuff seems crazy, but it just scratches the surface. Retailers, already facing a massive hurdle from online sellers like Amazon, intend to go all out to retain their customers. It's sort of retailers' last stand. They've given up so much to the online people, and now with the rise in theft, retail may be on the way out. Retail as we know it. Now in Guam, shoplifting is a problem. Some stores have added personnel to walk the floor in hopes of discouraging thieves. Nobody talks about this much, so it's hard to say how successful the strategy has been. But just like on the mainland, shoplifting costs, it's an expense, and they add it to the bottom line, and we have to pay more as a result. Is it likely that we'll walk into a store here and find entire aisles locked up? My guess is that will not happen, at least anytime soon. Even so, we will not escape the trend entirely. Inflation under President Biden's policies is forcing people to choose between food and medicine, or gasoline, or their power bill. If the economy worsens, so will crime. Thus, some of these retail realities may come to our island sooner rather than later. We live in challenging times, my friend. Still, I believe better times are ahead. That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show and First Hawaiian Bank, I'm Jerry Roberts.
The good one, Jerry. 7:32 in the morning. I had that experience the other day. I was over at Benson, and Benson has a number of items that are small and easy to pocket, and they generally leave those behind some kind of chicken wire fence. And I had to call the key kuya the other day to open one up for me so I could get a couple of pieces that I needed for a project at the house. And as it turns out, the guy walks over and just opens the thing. He didn't bother putting a key in. He hadn't locked it yet. So that was my most recent experience. And there was a time a few years ago, I'd quit smoking. And one of the ways that I quit was I was getting Nicorette. And so I'd go to Kmart and get Nicorette. But that was a frustrating experience because they had it locked up. And they had it locked up in the condoms and the jelly section of the store. So it was kind of embarrassing to be there in front of that thing waiting for the lady to come and open it up. And naturally, she'd open it up and then she'd like turn her head to make sure she didn't see what I was getting. I was like, lady, I'm reaching in here for the Nicorette. Yeah, okay, mister. That's okay. Yeah, whatever. Just take that over to the cashier and pay for it. And I stopped buying my Nicorette from them as a result of it. Went to other places where they had the stuff where it wasn't quite as embarrassing to get in there and choose between the Nicorette, the condoms, and the lube. 7:33 in the morning. That's Jerry Roberts in the Soonings Extra Point. And it's about time for us to jump into some news and headlines with Montesilva Tyrant, being brought to you here by the guys over at Burger King. Still Lent and still got the Big Fish Sandwich and Impossible Whopper. 100% Whopper, 0% beef. This is Pope-approved burgers. Also being brought to you by Lolita Cammett with Hoffaday Realty. Give her a jingle, 688-6743. Principal broker Joe D. Duane is now with news and headlines. Here's Montesilva Tyrant. Avamana, what happened?
An $81.5 million program has been launched by the administration, giving some relief to families who need help with child care. That program could provide up to 100% of child care costs for children who are ages 0 to 13 years and up to 18 years for children who are with special needs. That the application's available online at guamchildcare.com. Meanwhile, it could possibly bring some relief to people who have been facing some steep prices at the gas pump. The Speaker of the Legislature has introduced a couple of bills that look to reduce or do away with the fuel tax on Guam. Currently, the price of fuel is $5.79 a gallon for regular grade fuel. The public hearing on those two bills, those are Bill 260 and 261, will be held this week, Thursday at 1:30 in the afternoon. And the National Weather Service says it might not be too much, but they are keeping an eye on a system that's developing over by Chuuk. They say that it will definitely bring some rainy weather this weekend as it moves toward the region. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Very, very good. 7:34 in the morning on The Ray Gibson Show. Coming up, we get a conversation with soon-to-be Senator Harvey Egna. And, I don't know, look at traffic and more as the program continues.
Unified Communications, UC, is the next step in a business phone system. Introducing Docomo Pacific UC, your business phone. Instant messaging, video, voicemail, fax, and more. All unified on one platform and delivered through the cloud. Merge your desk phone with your mobile device. Turn voice calls into video conference. UC reduces phone costs. UC boosts productivity. Work better together with Docomo Pacific UC.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
7:36, quick look at what's going on your roadways as we drive into drive time here this morning up at Anderson Air Force Base. Nothing major. Let me zoom out and see if I can find some traffic problems that do affect you. Looks like, as usual, the traffic getting in from Ipalpao onto Waiseng Song getting a little bit busy. Everybody trying to get out of Laddie Heights down Adakau. And we are seeing the usual backup of traffic over by Guam Regional Medical City on Route 3 getting onto Marine Corps Drive. Once you do, shouldn't be a problem until you get around to the Kmark and John F. Kennedy area. That looks like it's running a little bit busy here this morning. The intersection at 1 and 10 by the airport also running a little bit busy. Starting to build up over at 8, 10, and 16. 10 and 15 busy. 4 and 10. And a little bit of Route 4 into the downtown Agutnia area running a little bit busy this morning. You will find some traffic on Route 8. Looks like they want to start some dogging out over by Payless, but we'll just have to wait and see what the light does. Also, traffic at the intersection of 1 and 2 at Big Navy and Sumai starting to build up as well. 7:37, that's why we call it Right Now Traffic.
Chili's has the seafood you crave and the flavors you love this Lenten season. Indulge in delicious Lent-friendly soups, salads, appetizers, and entrees, like our loaded baked potato soup, quesadilla explosion salad, our savory Cajun shrimp pasta, or our mouth-watering grilled ancho salmon. Ask about our black bean burger options, like our tasty mushroom Swiss or old-timer with cheese. This is a limited-time offer, so hurry in and enjoy all the tasty Lent options this Lenten season. We're located on the second floor of Two Montans Plaza. At Chili's, savor the moment.
Be in the know. Want to keep your family safe from high-tech trouble? Introducing Bark Jr., a new online parental control app that's free for GTA wireless and internet customers. Bark Jr. monitors apps and social media, manages online screen time, and filters websites to protect your family from inappropriate online content. Sign up for any GTA postpaid wireless or internet service and get Bark Jr. for free today. Call us at 671-644-4482 or visit us at gta.net. GTA, we start with you.
7:38. Yeah. Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. Thrilled to be here with you. Some days I wake up and look at the newspaper and go, oh, my God, this is meth town. Well, yeah, this place has been taken over by... Yeah, well, I got the Daily Post.
Oh, okay.
Got the Daily Post. And the Daily Post is what we've got here is we've got... This is molester and rapist town. Virtually every story that you're going to get on the front page of today's Guam Daily Post and the second page has got something to do with guys that can't keep their hands to themselves and their zipper all the way up. Child molester, 10 years in prison, $15,000 bail for a suspect in a case where he is alleged to have raped a girl 40 times. There's more. Harvey's distressed about this as well. The sexual assault suspect has been released from prison. Rape suspect released on electronic monitoring. Man denies raping 10-year-old girl. What the hell is going on out there with these people? Harvey Egg on the line. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning. Well, not Senator yet. But thanks for taking my call, Ray. And I was wondering how many other people noticed this trifecta of articles in the online version of the Post this morning. I certainly did, and it was very upsetting, particularly the release of the, and I'll use the term lightly, gentleman who committed 40 separate incidences of rape against an underage girl. It was released on $15,000 bail. And you can get that on a credit card advance. I'm just wondering how rigorously our AG's office prosecutors protested these releases to have these guys out on the street, and I'm sure the victims are walking around fairly terrified that these perpetrators are out there and potentially could bump into them.
Well, there's one of these stories that you're referring to in this morning's Post. Rape suspect released on electronic monitoring. John Kwan said, Magistrate Judge John Kwan said, I'm going to very reluctantly release you and then let him out on a $10,000 personal recognizant bond. And it was noted during the hearing, according to the story that Nick Delgado wrote, it was noted during the hearing that the victim still fears for her safety. And in my mind, that should have been the overriding reason why he should stay behind bars. Is exactly. Because there is a victim who, can you imagine the incredible amount of bravery that it takes to come forth with those kinds of allegations to begin with, and now continuing to fear for her safety, and I would say for very good reason, because none of these instructions that come from the bench to anybody, regardless of the crime that they are accused of being committed, when they go out and are released back into the street, they go right back to committing crimes. There is no fear of the criminal justice system. There's no fear for the police or prison in this town, because they know that is it's a distant and almost a toothless threat.
And under what obligation is the magistrate to release this guy? I don't believe he's under any obligation to let him back out on the street. How do our cops feel about all the hard work they do to bring these guys in and arrest them, do all the paperwork, and then they're back out on the street for $10,000 bail? Yeah, no, I don't disagree. And I guess it was just kind of a request. Hi, I'm Robbie, and yeah, I've been in trouble for criminal sexual conduct and burglary, but I don't like jail. Can you let me out? Exactly. I don't think the magistrate is under any obligation to release him. And, some poor guy that looks the wrong way at a turtle finds himself doing 10 years in a federal prison.
Oh my God! Oh yeah. I'm with you. I mean, that is the nonsense that we are putting up with around here these days. Got another story of a guy accused of sexually assaulting a woman at Epau Beach Park, and this is how bad it was. She woke up from shock because of the sexual assault that was committed against her, reporting that her body went numb before she blacked out, and the man that she's accusing of sexually assaulting her back out in the streets.
I'd just be interested to see, Ray, if how rigorously our AG's prosecutors protested these releases of the accused.
I couldn't.
If they went along with it. Yeah, I'm not sure how we would find that information out, but I'd certainly be interested to see if there was a rigorous argument against it, or they basically went along with it.
I can't disagree with you. We'll see what we can find out. Also interested in this trifecta, quadfecta of just alarming stories about the way we are treating children and the women in this community. My cousin Troy from Candid News on the line wants to get into the conversation. Harvey, good morning. Meet cousin Troy.
Hi, Harvey.
Hi, cousin Troy. Good morning.
Hi. Good luck in your campaign. Swing by the office and I'll sign your petition.
Thank you.
You are circulating petitions these days, aren't you, Harvey?
You better believe it, every day.
Good for you. Come by the radio station. There might be a couple of people here that would like to sign your petition. I know I'm among them. You and I find ourselves alarmed by many of the same things that are going on in this community, and wondering when we are going to start getting tough on crime. We get we're tough on plastic bags and paper bags, but the criminals can walk free. Cousin Troy, what do you want to add?
I think a really big problem, I just want to add what Harvey was saying, a really big problem is the Attorney General himself. I got a statement from Peter Santos this morning. It's not like there's any love lost between Peter Santos and I, but I've got to agree with him. And he was a prosecutor under Levin Camacho's office. I'm going to guess he left because of the problems of Levin Camacho being a bad manager. But in a statement, he talks about how when confronted with this question about the issues with, not giving his prosecutors the tools that they need and not having enough prosecutors, so that we're dismissing crimes or we're plea bargaining things that we probably shouldn't have plea bargains. The Attorney General just dismissed it as pettiness. Actual criticism of his job in the deliverance of criminal justice, he dismisses as just pettiness that doesn't need to be discussed. I think we need to dismiss the Attorney General. And it's not just these violent crimes. There are also white collar crimes that he's just the payment of alcohol taxes and tobacco taxes, the land scams that are going on, the audits that come out that implicate the governor's own son-in-law that he says no crime was committed. We're not going to prosecute that. Come on.
He seems to be more concerned with going after a Twitter class action suit when the solution to that is have your kid turn Twitter off of his laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, it's tough to be the incumbent, but our expectations are changing on a daily basis as there seemingly are more crimes that are being committed and perpetrated against regular innocent folks in this community. Crimes against children, crimes against women in this town. We got virtually everybody I know is spending a lot of time around the video camera aisle at Home Depot and over at Benson trying to find ways to protect themselves and calling the security companies and adding to the number of alarm systems that they've got in the house for exactly the same reason. And there just doesn't seem to be a huge call by the elected representatives in this town to get anything going on it. At least I'm not hearing it.
Go ahead. I have three teenage girls, and I've had the folks come out and assess my house for cameras, which I hadn't thought about doing before.
Mm-hmm. Troy?
Yeah, there's this. This is on the court record over the Superior Court. It was the presiding judge, Aula Morena. He was lecturing the prosecutors because, and I think I can't quote this directly, but he said something like, "If you guys keep it up this way, there are going to be 2,000 cases before my docket by the year's end, and that go unresolved. And it's because the prosecutors just don't have the resources to do their jobs. And you're right, Harvey. The police, they're doing their jobs apparently for the most part, right? I mean, there are some bad apples, but for the most part, the police are doing their jobs. They're delivering criminals into the criminal justice system. But it's the Attorney General who's failing here. And the courts are trying too. So obviously it's what's in between that's holding this thing back. And then, of course, you have the issue with the crowding of the prison. But, at least they're managing. But the problem here is the Attorney General.
The solution is simple. We start making plans to build ourselves a new facility down the road somewhere. And it's not the prettiest piece of legislation. This is not legacy time, but it does need to get done. We've got to take a serious look at what our criminal justice system and our correctional facilities are looking like for both adults and for the youth offenders. That seem to be a growing number of youth offenders that we have to deal with these days. So I think we've got to do that. And in the meantime, do as Senator Jim Moylan has already suggested. And look, I tell you what, if tents are good enough for our men and women in the military, they'll be ample to provide shelter for criminals. If we've got an overcrowding issue over at the correctional facilities, let's just build up a whole nother field out there and let guys sleep in tents and go maybe in the slit trenches as they will if they were out defending our country in the desert somewhere. 7:48. Harvey, I appreciate your time on this. I appreciate you noticing, and I'd love to hear more about your platform. You've got offers to get signatures on your petitions, and if you're real nice to Troy, you might find yourself in front of a camera and getting an interview with him.
I'll be real nice. I'll be real nice to Troy.
There you go. All right, guys, I'm going to let you run. Troy, if you need contact information, beat me, and I'll get that from Harvey. Guys, appreciate your time and appreciate your attention to what's going on. 7:48 in the morning, and I put this meme up here a little bit earlier because it was created in a land of hate. Hate for Chris Duenas' Resolution 291. And I'm going to tell you right now from my read of legislation and executive orders that have come out of Hawaii, this is all bolero. It's all bola. It's all BS. Sounds like BS to me. Here comes the threat, ladies and gentlemen. If Resolution 291 passes, then 15,000 families are going to lose out on the emergency SNAP benefits. That includes up to 45,000 children. $2.3 million a month will be sucked out of the system, all because of Chris Duenas' Resolution 291. And oh, by the way, and this is the exclamation point written in blood, hate blood. How many bills has Senator Chris Duenas turned into law in this session? One. Just one. My, how impressive is all of that. Hey, look, Chris Duenas on the phone. Good morning, Senator. How you doing?
Half a day, Ray Gibson, Senator Mana.
Hey, half a day.
Joe, let's roll.
Good morning, Biba.
Biba.
Yeah, my contribution to candidates through my staff, because I was still a little under the weather on Saturday when they gathered at the Republican headquarters, was, embrace when you're being attacked. It means you're relevant.
Yes.
And carry it as a badge of honor. Because people need to know you, whether they know you for something they don't like you're doing or whether they know you for something they really like you're doing. They need to know you.
Well, we need to. Obviously, you're striking a nerve with the drama department of I'm going to assume Adelup or the Department of Public Health and Social Services. Although I can't see Janella putting something like this together. I'll ask her later on. I think she's going to be in the studio for something down the road. I'll ask her if she had anything to do with that. We'll never find the culprit.
This is Julian Jensen's. And this is why he won't be confirmed by the legislature. He's basically a sharpshooter sitting up there, nestled over there at Bureau of Statistics and Plans, and he's one of the governor's attack dogs. So I'm actually currently constructing my Trojan horse. Yeah. So okay. I'll have my Trojan horse meme ready to put back out saying, if you're smart, call David Ige.
Well, you can find it. It's online. You can go and check out the governor's office in Hawaii and get the paperwork associated with this. It wasn't all that difficult for you and your people to find. If we lift the public health emergency, this is the squeal now that comes out of the powers that be. Oh my God, 15,000 people will lose their emergency SNAP benefits. But the governor, in their emergency proclamation, while they're lifting all of the mandates and restrictions in Hawaii, have carved out specific language in a specific emergency proclamation from the governor's office related to supplemental nutrition assistance program. And I can read it, or you can. What do you want people to hear?
Well, I mean, if you want to read it. I mean, it would be great for the people of Guam to hear it from Senator Ray, boy.
Okay, well, here it is. Now, therefore, I, David Ige, Governor of the State of Hawaii, hereby determine that an emergency or disaster contemplated by Section 127A.14 Hawaii Revised Statutes has occurred in the state of Hawaii, and do hereby declare the existence of a state of emergency for the limited purpose of administering the available federal program that provides SNAP emergency allotment relief to alleviate food insecurity for individuals and families of the state during the national public health emergency. I further declare that the disaster emergency relief period shall commence March 25, 2022 and continue through May 24, 2022. So as relates to the SNAP program, the reference is made now to the federal, the national public health emergency, and as long as they're going to continue to provide those additional SNAP dollars, the state of Hawaii will continue to provide those dollars in their program.
So how would Chris Carrillo say it? That bugger's smart,
right? Wow! So how did we? Why can't Guam and Hawaii become the same place? It'd just be part of the like a county, the county of state of Hawaii, county of Guam. You want to do that? Because apparently they are thinking a little bit further past the problems, or this is just continuing kabuki from the governor's office, and by way of continuing the public health emergency that I think has clearly enriched a number of individuals in this town, and they don't want to see it end.
So the governor was on another media also being interviewed and just really, really, throwing fireballs at me, right? Which is fun.
Cool.
But I think her ire on why she was asked directly, why, Governor Ige did this in Hawaii and did a carve out. Why can't you just do that? And her retort to that was, why should I do that? Why would I do that? I have this beautiful, big, voluminous public health emergency that I got right now. I'm not going to end this and do something smart like that. No, I'm going to stay right where I'm at. But the biggest thing is, on top of this is just the opening of my research, Ray. I have combed all of Congress, congressional record, all of the research that's been done. And I'm telling you, time after time, everything I'm finding, it says states do not need to be in a public health emergency to avail of all of the programs that were. In fact, one of the sites had that SNAP as a standalone. That's the one that jumps out at you. But you do need this. But everything else, Ray, everything I'm seeing shows that the Stafford Act is extremely durable. That and the governor admitted this herself the other day last week Wednesday when she was scolding us, and in her executive order, she was actually on that press conference, and she said, I don't need the public health emergency for the Guard mobilization and everything else.
Yeah, they at her service whenever she requires for whatever reason.
But it bolsters my case, and I'm saying, how much more of a case do you need than a presidential declaration? If you just read the Stafford Act, which is really predominantly under those emergency powers associated with FEMA, let me let a little bit out of what I think is probably going to happen in the committee of the whole too. And the Speaker also did invite Homeland Security last Wednesday. They didn't come, and I think there's a reason, Ray. They are the ones who administer the FEMA. And I'm hearing the FEMA's got some problems. And the FEMA shouldn't have to have an emergency declaration because, Ray, I was talking to my good friend Daryl Frank Bloss the other day, and we were having lunch. And he's like, Chris, I think there's still open emergency, reconciliations going back to, I don't know what storm way back when, right? Sometimes they try to say you have to be in this emergency in order to be able to reconcile when you're making claims and they're unallowed costs. But you don't have to. That can go on, past the emergency. So I think what's hanging up here is I'm surmising that their reimbursed cost is not going well. And they're being denied at a high rate. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, are we gonna have to recompense FEMA? Are we gonna have to recompense the Fed?
It's a huge problem, Ray. And
Dude, you reminded me. Akimoto sent me a thing that said that some of the about 60% of the expenses that have been attributed to COVID-19 are apparently not being are not being approved at the federal level. These are on expenses that are being incurred over at GMH.
I've heard some numbers higher than that, and I've heard as high as 70%. So I think what it is here is, we need to be truthful with our people, right? And in order to do that, you got to do it at the people's house. And you don't do it on a Friday night at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
You do it, in the day. You bring everybody down. You swear them in. And now we have 300 pages of those who basically said, don't cripple our healthcare system. We got you. We heard you. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do is build an accountability to this system and say, wait a minute, you've been duped, I think. You're still going to have this money, but we want to make sure that you're going to have a budget in the next 5, 6, 7 years that is not taking 10 and 15 and $20 million like Governor Cowell and Governor Camacho had to do to return for costs that were not reimbursable. And so if there's tens of going probably up to $100 million, and that is not an allowable cost, that's a huge impact on the general fund.
How are we gonna get that back?
Right, and so we can celebrate all day long that we're tracking right now, $62 million and the CRER and everything else. That can be eaten up in one denial. And that's a big deal because that's a lot of bread and butter that the people of Guam are counting on for appropriation. I'm sure the Speaker and others have plenty of plans. In fact, I think what I'm understanding is this liquid fuels tax proposal is going to take about maybe $11 million out of the general fund for, roads and other operations that we run in the government. So my understanding is she's counting on, wait a minute, we have a surplus. The general fund is nice and happy. So let's make the people happy and take 23 cents off. Now, we'll hear the hearing tomorrow. But what I'm saying is we're already counting on that $62 million for appropriation for that and other programs. So if we have a denial rate of 60 or 70%, we're in, to go to another country, we're in deep kimchi.
7:59 and change. I wish I had more time with you, and clearly there are people. It's interesting that you named Jensen on this one, but there are people that are already lined up and have a campaign building against you. I'm just waiting for people to park hearses in front of the legislature and protests in front of the legislature as you get closer and closer to the hearing on Resolution 291. Chris Duenas on the line. Appreciate your time. I'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, Julian, get back to work. The taxpayers are paying you. You don't have to bother with me. You want to talk to me? Come down to the office.
8 o'clock in the morning. Say it to my face, as we say. All right, that's Chris Duenas. This is Fox News.
Phyllis Sarah, Fox News. The White House set to unveil a new round of sanctions against Russia as a response to the apparent killing of civilians in the Kyiv suburb of Bucha.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the graphic scenes in Ukraine are more than enough evidence to warrant new sanctions. While the U.S. is still reluctant to engage militarily, sanctions will be put in place to hasten a Russian choice.
Between draining remaining valuable dollar reserves or new revenue coming in or default. Part of our objective here, the biggest part of our objective here, is to deplete the resources that Putin has to continue his war against Ukraine.
The new round of sanctions are expected to be unveiled by the Biden administration on Wednesday. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Russia's UN ambassador claims while Bucha was under Russian control, not a single local person suffered from any violent action. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky virtually addressed the UN Security Council through a translator. He accused Russia of committing war crimes.
They cut off limbs, cut their throats, slashed their throats. Women were raped and killed in front of their children.
Over the past few days, gruesome images of what appear to be massacres of civilians in the outskirts of Kyiv have caused an outcry around the world. Former President Trump's daughter Ivanka has appeared before the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot.
Committee chairman, Democrat Minnie Thompson, told reporters he's not aware of Ivanka Trump, who served as a senior advisor in her father's administration, invoking any privilege. Last week, her husband, Jared Kushner, also a former senior White House advisor, spoke for several hours with the committee.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. Wall Street stocks fell as remarks by a Federal Reserve governor fueled expectations that the central bank may aggressively raise interest rates. The Dow lost 280. America's listening. Fox News.
Howdy and half a day, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. KFC is your go-to place for Lent. All of my delicious KFC Lent favorites are back this season, including the seafood Kelguin, popcorn shrimp, the seafood twister, the wasabi fish sandwich, and the fan favorite, the KFC shrimp burger. And just like my famous KFC chicken, the entire Lent menu is available for delivery. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Are you looking for a new place to hang out with your friends? Let's go along the sidelines at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Located at 154 Iriarte Road, Unit 4 and 5 in Tamuning behind Royal Bigs. Sidelines, a hidden gem with nothing but great things to offer. Great atmosphere, great food, top shelf drinks, and a great team. What are we waiting for? Let the fun begin at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. See you there.
Residents are being forced to leave their apartment building in North Miami Beach because of safety concerns.
Over 100 people forced to evacuate their homes after a structural engineer deemed their North Miami Beach apartment building unsafe.
I don't know what I have to do, and I don't know where I have to go.
We have the Red Cross helping all of the people that live in the building out. Together with the Homeless Trust.
That's Mayor Anthony DiFilippo. We're told that repairs were being made to the building known as Bayview 60 Homes, but that its condition was too far gone. April rent and security is being returned. It is the second building in North Miami Beach deemed unsafe to live in less than a year. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
A nurse has been indicted on an involuntary manslaughter charge by a North Carolina jury in the 2019 death of a black man who was jailed. Increasingly popular electric vehicles face a possible hitch.
U.S. regulators have opened a probe into electric vehicles, searching for any signs of danger from electric and hybrid vehicle batteries after 5 automakers issued recalls for defects that can cause fires or stalling. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says a probe covers more than 138,000 vehicles with batteries made by LG of South Korea. General Motors, Mercedes-Benz, Hyundai, Stellantis, and Volkswagen have issued recalls since February of 2020, most due to internal battery failures that can increase the risk of fires. Electric vehicles have seen their market share around the world more than double in the past year alone. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Officials in Utah say dinosaur tracks believed to be 112 million years old were damaged by heavy equipment used to build a boardwalk in the tourist area of Moab. The damage is said to be minor, but officials say some footprints had breaks around their rims. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Here at Nimitz Towers, we're a large-scale rental complex. We have over 20 employees, and when the pandemic hit, our concerns were people not being able to work, loss of revenue and income, and luckily, due to PPP, we were able to keep all our employees employed, working. We were able to provide services, maintenance, and cleanliness for the building and the operation. Also, the rental assistance program helped us stay solvent during the pandemic, helped us keep the tenants in place.
We're thankful for Congressman San Nicolas advocating for these funds on our behalf in Washington, D.C.
If you have any concerns about any federal issues, feel free to contact your congressman's office.
Thank you for the federal funds. Thank you for the federal funds. Thank you for the federal funds.
Thank you for the federal funds.
Thank you for the federal funds. Thank you for the federal funds.
paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, it's easy, and it's secure. Visit Nambo.com for more information.
Half a day, it's 8:06. I'm Montesova Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. The governor announced the start of a program that will provide for financial support for families in need of assistance for childcare. The Child Care Assistance Program aimed at helping thousands of Guam's working families and will pay up to 100% of monthly child care costs after adjustments were made to the monthly income thresholds. More families may qualify for this aid. The program covers children from 0 to 13 years old. Children with special needs may be eligible up to 18 years old. That program is valued at $81.5 million. The application's available at guamchildcare.com. Federal funds, including block grants and American Rescue Plan money, are being used for this program, created about a month ago to covered under an executive order. 5 other programs will also be launched in line with this one. One will provide financial assistance to families which care for children at home. Also, couldn't come any sooner, the gas prices at an all-time high, but a bill that was introduced at the legislature seeks to do away with a fuel tax and hopefully provide some relief at the pump. Gasoline prices this week at $5.79 a gallon for regular grade fuel. As reported in the PDN, Speaker Therese Terlahi's Bill 260 would remove an extra 4 cents per gallon for this tax that took effect in 2017. Another bill that she introduced would remove the liquid fuel tax altogether, which collects about 15 cents per gallon of gas. Public hearings for both of these bills scheduled for Thursday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Elsewhere in the news, a second suspect was indicted in a 2020 shooting that involved murder defendant Nicholas Wayne Moore. The Guam Daily Post reports a superseding indictment was handed down against Eric Benjamin Salone, apparently a 27-year-old Navy man. He was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault as a second-degree felony, terrorizing as a third-degree felony, and possession of a firearm without a firearms ID. He also faces multiple counts of second special allegation of deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. Salone was picked up by authorities on Wednesday, on March 24th, the same day the superseding indictment was handed down by a grand jury. He has since been released on a $100,000 personal recognizance bond. Moore, who was accused separately in the killing of Michael Castro, was charged in the new indictment as well. Investigators learned Salone induced and aided Moore in the shooting. Both are scheduled to answer to the charges tomorrow at the Superior Court. Well, more news right after this.
Go green, go hybrid. Go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
The U.S. military proposing a nearly $900 million budget to procure a new missile defense system for Guam. According to a summary of the proposed 2023 defense budget, the new system would address growing missile threats from China. The Defense Post reports the budget invests $892 million for the defense of Guam, including improvised missile defense, command and control capabilities, radar capacity, and new construction. The report also indicates the U.S. plans to spend another $133 million in base defense enhancements throughout the Indo-Pacific region. And expect more wet weather to be moving into the weekend with a tropical disturbance brewing down by Chuk, the National Weather Service. They've been watching developments of Invest Area 95W, which was nearly stationary yesterday by Chuk. It's expected to head west-northwest toward Yap over the next few days. It's too soon to say which way it will move or how much it will develop, but there is a possibility it could strengthen and brings to us some wet weather this weekend. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
I'll get you some of that weather in a second. Taking a look at some of the commentary on the YouTube side. Some interesting stuff. Lupang is posting some interesting stories here. James Howard, Brian Chargaloff. Pay attention to a Lupang story. It's a good way to prep. Patricia says, sorry, too nervous to talk on the radio. As for the hate meme to Senator Chris, that's a shame because they don't know how disproportionate the SNAP benefit is to some people. Jose Guamese saying, yeah, that's something Jensen would do. And then Blank, I was right. He has the golden knee pads. Way to go. Who else is online here? And Booney Dog tomorrow. What's up? The Resistance, show me your wallet where the bad governor of Guam touched you. Who is it? Now, there's an Elsa Perez, Real Joe. Elsa Perez.
Yeah, Elsa.
Says, can you show the Real Joe Cruz once in a while? I want to see the face behind the contagious laugh. Stand by one. Let me swing the camera here, our away camera, to someplace where Real Joe can be seen if he chooses to stand up for the Elsa. Come on, Real Joe. Show her the goods. That's it. Can I get a dab? Can I get a little bit of a dab there? Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And now, Elsa, welcome to the family. Mostly sunny today, highs near 88 degrees with a heat index. It'll feel like 94. Winds from the east, 15 to 21 miles an hour, gusting as high as about 25. We'll see heavy gusts here over the next couple of days. Unrelated to 95W, it's just breezy time of year. Partly cloudy tonight with lows around 77. Mostly sunny again tomorrow, highs near 88 degrees. Partly cloudy on Thursday evening with lows around 76 degrees. Red flag warning, so no burning outside. The sunrise was at 6:14. Should be around the same time tomorrow. And sunset tonight is going to be at 6:33. Hashtag tell the others. What do you think, LCU and Real Joe out there waiting for the green flash? Is it possible? All right, that's enough of that. It's Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. I'll be right back.
Half a day. Patsy Gogri from Security Title here with information about what a title company does. The title side of our business determines who owns a property and guarantees your ownership with a title insurance policy. The escrow side acts as an independent third party, managing the transfer of money and documents between the buyer, seller, lenders, and others. Security Title has a management of real estate closings down to a science. Give us a call. We are here to help.
Unified Communications, UC, is the next step in a business phone system. Introducing Docomo Pacific UC, your business phone. Instant messaging, video, voicemail, fax, and more. All unified on one platform and delivered through the cloud. Merge your desk phone with your mobile device. Turn voice calls into video conference. UC reduces phone costs. UC boosts productivity. Work better together with Docomo Pacific UC.
I see it. You see it. Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL. That's American President Lines. A global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the guys over at, where am I going to this one?
Chili's.
Oh, yeah. They still got all the flavors that you crave there for Lent. But they've also got another big deal I need to tell you about. Build your own $15 meal deal at Chili's. Mix and match 3-course meals with soup, salad, or chips and salsa to start. Ranchero chicken tacos, honey chipotle crispers with rice, bacon, ranch quesadillas, or personal fajitas as your main course. Really is a fantastic deal. $15 meal deal waiting for you at Chili's, where more life is happening and great value happens there. Second floor of the Tumon Sands Plaza.
Rediscover talk radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
Superstation! 8:15 in the morning, and we would be an even super station if we had more sound effects. Real Joe, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Just saying.
I got it. I'll work on that.
Gotta get in some.
I'll
some
do
new
better,
stuff.
man.
Find me some cartoon sound effects. So we've been struggling here at the radio station recently with a couple of things. Here, the possibilities that Doug Moylan may return to office as the Attorney General, and there's the sound of Eric the Eagle. And now there's a possibility that Peter Santos could win the race for Attorney General, and we were struggling with a sound effect for him. Now I think I might have found one. First of all, if you're one of those people that is watching on the social media and Facebook Live, YouTube Live, specifically for a chance to screw me up with royalties and things like that, I got these sounds from a royalty-free website called Epidemic Sounds, and they've got a whole section in there on birds. So we can hear some of these, like this. That's boring. Hold on. Here's the chicken. But the thing is, we're talking about Peter Santos here, so we're definitely not putting any chicken sound effects in there. I've got a hawk. Hold on, it's queuing. See, that sounds a little bit too much like the Eric the Eagle one, right?
Yeah.
All right, so here's one. It just says bird scary. Right?
Yes.
Bird scary.
Pete the Peregrine Falcon.
Pete the Peregrine Falcon. and there's his call, ladies and gentlemen. So everything has got to have a sound effect around here for me to be happy. 8:16 in the morning. And I do want to say thanks very much to Peter Santos. He sent me a copy of the open letter. He's also sent that to Candid. And I think it makes some very, very good points. I'll read from some of that before too much longer. But I did want to welcome him back to the program, everybody. Pete Santos on the line. Good morning, Pedro.
Viva!
Good morning, Viva. Hafaday, Joe, Mana, and Ray.
So through
I was listening, Ray, earlier, and I used to be a magistrate for the military. So, it's tough. It's tough.
So you did fall asleep.
You have fallen asleep.
Yeah. The default position when people get accused and charged is release. The government has the job of justifying incarceration or holding pretrial confinement. So if someone is released, then that means the government didn't justify it.
Wow.
So I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, and I appreciate the clarification on that, and I can see, the sticky wick that many in the system are left with. But, I mean, in the case where the guy was already in jail, he was already in jail, went to the judge and requested to be released, and the judge reluctantly, even in the face of testimony from the victim that she was fearful of her life and her safety, it rubs me the wrong way. And I think it's as more and more people wake up to that story and the other 4 or 5 stories in the front pages of the newspapers today, criminal sexual conduct against women, criminal sexual conduct against children, I think people get alarmed and annoyed at the rate that these guys are getting out. You know what I mean?
I do, and one of the problems, Ray, and I touched on it yesterday, is with training these prosecutors, right? And I've witnessed the new prosecutors just get sent down there and say, go, without anything, just go, just show up, and you'll figure it out.
No, you cannot do that with crime and criminals. I mean, the system already feels stacked against against justice and against the victims, and all of a sudden we send them down there with inexperienced and untrained prosecutors.
Right. Kellis called Bob yesterday and said, he identifies as a lawyer. Maybe he can go and apply for a job.
Yeah, what the heck? If there doesn't seem to be any standards for training, and why would is this new? I mean, is this all a Levin Camacho problem, or has this been a festering issue at the Attorney General's office?
So there was a training program in place, but guess who was in charge of that and who ran it? It was Jonathan Kwan at the time, and then when he left, they really didn't keep it up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
So, right. So we are seeing attorneys show up not knowing, their left hand from their right hand. So.
Well, in those cases, in my head, I'm just thinking there's some kind of weird, twisted malpractice that would seem to be going on. But in those cases, should not the judge take a second, do a sidebar, and say, "Hey, listen, kid, it's pretty clear you don't know what you're doing. Maybe there's somebody else at the office that can come in and take this important case."
That's what Troy was alluding to earlier when the presiding judge was lecturing the prosecutor, like, hey, we see this trend happening and it's not good, and it's affecting us as well.
Well, because it makes it look like they're the ones that are soft on crime, and some of these guys have got to go before the voters again and get their recertification in the elections.
Well, it's also referring to just like the basic things, like filing your stuff on time and meeting deadlines and all that. The court is forced to then dismiss things when deadlines are missed.
There's a
so it's like there's no adult supervision.
Well, that's unfortunate. Fortunately, there is an election coming up, and changes can be made to that. Unless you think there might still be time for some kind of a turnaround in the next 143 days.
Well, I hope so. I hope it's addressed, and I hope it doesn't just fall on deaf ears. Now, I've sat down one-on-one with Levin, and all the other prosecutors have sat down one-on-one to air out our concerns, and it's always been the same response. Like, no, I don't think you're right. I don't. You're just complaining. You're just, bitching, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So he's never been a prosecutor. He's never run a large organization. So, I learned in the military, right? You learn from your troops. Your troops know better, right? You learn from them just as much as they get to learn from you, and you give them the commands. But you have to listen to your troops, because they're where the rubber hits the road. They know what they need. They know what kind of ammunition they need. If you start giving them the wrong ammunition or no ammunition, then you're going to lose the war.
There are other, in the open letter that you have penned to me, and I'm presuming that this is going to be published somewhere, you state that the Attorney General's office is doing some good in some of the right places: child support, environmental justice, whatever that is, securing funds and resources related to drug abuse and addiction. But where the rubber hits the road, I think in many people's minds, and the home runs that get hit are significant convictions in the court of law, and that you leave to the prosecution division, and you point out in your letter that is certainly not strong there, the opposite of strong, and the opposite of aware of what some of these issues are.
Right. Like, you got to give credit where credit's due, but then also at the same time, those successes are really off of the backs of those people that have been there in those divisions for very long. That's something that they've been doing for years, and it's something that is expected. He's just touting it as a success when it's really business as usual as far as that is concerned, right? But where he's dropping the ball, that's what we got to pay attention. Remember, was it Ronald Reagan during his election? That phrase came out, "It's the economy, stupid."
Right.
So
and today it's crime. It's crime, stupid.
Crime.
Yeah, and people, everybody that we know, one way or the other, has been affected by crime, and certainly, there's a sense in the community that we have taken a turn on the trail, and we've got to figure out how to get back. So, as candidate Pete Santos, and I'm not suggesting that you have made your decision, but after reading this open letter to the public, I'm pretty sure you're very, very close to it. If you were elected Attorney General, how would you strengthen the prosecution division, and what steps would you take to get there?
First of all, I'd actually do recruitment and retention, right? So I've heard that from the last exodus of about a dozen attorneys that left, aired their grievances, and nothing was done. It was actually, they doubled down and made it worse for them, and that's why they left.
Oh my God.
And so that's one area, and then there's training that must be done continuously. There's support, lawyers, prosecutors especially, deal in a very high-stress job. You got to check in on them. You got to provide them with services. I mean, even counseling, right? Even if it's just personal counseling. When I was there, I was doing that stuff. I was taking it on my own volition, not being in a position of leadership. I was checking on people and making sure that they were good, and telling them, hey, if you need anything, there's help that can be gotten, right? There's resources that can be gotten. But it seems like this AG is actually creating additional stress that is unnecessary for the prosecutors.
Now is not the time for those kinds of games. So recruitment, retention, training, availability of resources, all of those things sound really expensive, Pedro. How are we going to get the dough for that?
You don't really need to spend out a lot of money on that. Like I said, when I was there, I went, I happened to be going on a personal trip off island. I took my own time, and I recruited people, and they came. But with the problems that was going on in the office, they all left. So those 5 people that I brought are all gone now.
Is it easy to transfer from one division to another in the Attorney General's office?
You have to threaten them with bodily injury. Nobody wants to go to prosecution.
Right. Well, like as you say, it sounds like a stressful position, and I can, I hear from guys about how busy things are there, and yeah, we're going to plea out as much as we can just to get the paperwork off my desk.
The other long-term solution, Ray, is to have a separate elected prosecution.
You read my mind. That was among the questions I wanted to ask you here. I mean, not that there's going to be a hesitancy from people to say, "Oh God, more elected offices."
Well, you see what's happening, right? He's doing great in all those other areas, and he should continue doing that. But if this is the way it's going to be, then take prosecution away and let it be independent and let it have its own resources and let it have a leader who's going to be sensitive to the needs of the prosecutors. They are, they're your alphas up there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm just kind of scary because you hear about some of these, ultra left-wing prosecutors across the country that are hell-bent on getting guys out of prison even after they've been convicted or being soft on crime. Jerry Roberts did a whole thing on the Extra Point about how retail theft is at alarming numbers, and the retail industry as a whole is responding with what people are going to consider draconian moves because there's just not enough teeth in certain prosecutorial divisions across the country because of these elected guys. So the concern is
the latest trend that's been happening over there is that former public defenders are taking over. They're being elected in as prosecutors. That has its pluses and its minuses, right? That has its pluses and its minuses. It's like a pendulum, Ray. It swings. So what caused that? The impetus for all these public defenders to get elected as DAs was because the prosecution was unchecked for some time. There were people that were fabricating evidence. There were, malicious prosecutions, and it was all shown that it existed. And so they brought in these former public defenders to sort of temper that. But then with that situation, you get, like you said, people who are soft on crime.
It swings over in the opposite direction, and like I said, just
back and forth.
That's the scary part for me. Is I think the system is already stacked for whatever reason in favor of the criminals and the thugs that we've got in this community, and they recognize that, and I think they're capable of gaming the system. Frankly, I don't know that they need any legal representation anymore and anybody to back them up. I think everybody's figured out how they can get themselves out of hot water in a courtroom. Without having a lawyer, JD, behind him.
There's a guy that calls your show a lot, and he was my client, and he decided to go pro se, and he ended up getting his case dismissed.
Right.
And he was pro se. So what does that say, right?
8:30 in the morning. Pete Santos on the line with us, and soon to announce finally his candidacy for the Attorney General's office.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you for the time. I'm just trying to shine the light on right now. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm waiting to see if there will be more of what we've come to expect out of the Attorney General's office. I hate to be pointing too many fingers, but clearly there are issues there. Cousin Troy was talking about an exodus, and you brought it up this morning of employees at the Attorney General's office, specifically in prosecutorial division, and at the rate that we are seeing crime here, and the kinds of crimes that we are seeing, I think the community is going to be rather up in arms. I think there are going to be economic votes that are going to be cast, and votes that are based on crime, and we just need somebody that will come through and say, I know how to fix this. So if you know how to fix it, then we'll keep putting you on the radio.
Right, Ray, and Troy brought it up initially. People went to him to tell him about the problem, and some people discounted Troy because he's Troy, but I was in the belly of the beast, right? And so I can say, yes, what Troy was saying is in fact true.
All right. Well, with your permission, I'll read a few sentences from the open letter. Did you send that to the other media?
I sent it everywhere. I sent it all, sort of my
Are they going to publish it?
unofficial press release.
Okay. Are
Well,
they? You know.
it takes about 24 hours before they do, but they normally do.
All right. Hopefully, they not only publish it, but reach out to the Attorney General's office to get some kind of comment, one way or the other.
He's just going to dismiss it.
Dismissed, like everything else. Pedro, I'll see you soon, buddy. Have a fantastic day. 888-825-5888-TALK. Here's what he wrote, and like I said, try to act surprised when you see it in print. Look now what's going on at the prosecution division. I used to work there and still interact with that division as part of my job, so I have intimate knowledge of what is going on and all the problems they're having. In open court recently, in a hearing where I was present, an assistant attorney general commented to the judge that what is happening is borderline unethical and they'll be forced to just start dismissing cases. Well, my fellow people of Guam, that has already been happening. Mr. Camacho, I think referring here to Levin, recently responded to public criticism of his handling of crime and the issues plaguing the prosecution division, but he was entirely dismissive. He said, "We're not going to be distracted by misinformation or pettiness. Remain focused on working on important issues and improving the way our office serves our island." Mr. Camacho appears to be tone deaf and blind to the most important issues in his office. So in summary, it's great.
Like Marienda.
Okay.
Like Marienda. Like Marienda in the back behind the church.
Back to celebrity birthdays.
Back to celebrity birthdays. Billy D. Williams, 85 years old, and then I don't recognize hardly.
Local celebrity.
We have a local celebrity?
Yeah, Terry DeBold.
Terry DeBold has got a birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Coach.
Terry, we need to talk with Terry at some point. He's still double-I-double-A-G, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because there's an interesting story we talked about a wrestler at Guam High. Boy, but identifies as a girl, wants to wrestle girls in competition.
Okay.
And I don't know that's I don't know if how far that's gotten into the community, but it would be interesting. But it forces the issue now in front of us here. How are we going to deal with situations like that here on Guam? We're a very open and tolerant society. You do what you want to do, but are we down for guys transgender guys that want to wrestle cis women? So I don't know what cis means. I hear it every once in a while. I thought I'd throw it in there and try to sound a little bit more intelligent.
You might have offended somebody, but I'm
not in
What's
this.
new?
No, not in this
What's
station.
new?
It's Army Day. For those of you that
Happy Army Day.
in Army SEALs,
Cool.
Congratulations. Siamese Cat Day, yay. Student Athlete Day, and my daughter's got game tonight. Twinkie Day.
What did we determine? Is she blue, gray, or white?
Blue.
She's blue.
She's
okay.
Academy Blue.
So show me that calendar again so I can go watch her.
Yeah, there's a lot. Everybody is playing each other, and it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of interplay with the Academy beach volleyball team against
Which is not at the beach,
public school
by the
kids.
way.
No, it's at the GFA. Don't ask me how that works. It's Twinkie Day and Plan Your Epitaph Day. And as we talk about my surprise birthday party for my 60th birthday, I've already got my epitaph written.
Okay.
I told you I was sick. It's 8:38 now, and time for the 8:30 news with Mana Silva. Tyron Hoffamana, what happened?
Oh, well, I closed it, first of all. It's open now. The governor announced yesterday the start of her program that will provide much-needed support to families who need help paying for child care.
What's the name of that program?
The program. It's it'll cover the cost for child care from children 0 to 13 years. Children with special need could be covered if they are up to 18 years. The program valued at $81.5 million. If you want an application, go to guamchildcare.com. Also, the legislature will have a public hearing on a couple of bills that was introduced to address the rising cost of fuel. One of them would do away with the fuel tax. Those bills, 260 and 261, up for public hearing Thursday at 1:30 in the afternoon. And another arrest was made in connection with the shooting that took place in Agana Heights a couple of years ago. This is the second suspect to be arrested, along with Nicholas Wayne Moore, who's also charged with murder in a separate case. The Post reports that Eric Benjamin Sloan was arrested. He is a Navy man. He was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with as a second-degree felony, terrorizing as a third-degree felony, and possession of a firearm without an ID. Both he and Moore will be in court tomorrow to answer to those charges. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Okay. Now, Monad refers to it as the program because it's a long tomorrow phrase. Programan ipinilin ifamagoon guahan.
Yeah, Mel did a really good job saying it yesterday at the press conference.
I'm sure they spent a long time because you gotta pull out all the good tomorrow
when
words.
in doubt, leave it out.
Exactly. So watch over the children of Guam is what it's called. I'm because they got the Programan Salapi, and now we've got the Programan Pinilan, Ifamagoon Guahan, and now we've got and what I'm waiting for is the Programan Adahi Deganmo. Can we get the programming where you just watch your own butt
Let
here?
them disqualify you, right?
I'm disqualified. Yeah, I make too much for that. Where are we in the program? That's enough of the news. It's 8:40. I'll return in just a sec.
Get a box of Post or Kellogg's cereal for only 99 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of mid-grade or premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Get a 75-ounce bottle of Dawn dish soap for only $5.95 when you fuel up on $35 or more of mid-grade or premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Get a Bounty paper towel 2-pack for only 99 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of mid-grade or premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Choosing health insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
8:41 in the morning, portions of the program brought to you by, let me see, my friends over at Security Title. You know, I'm not a real estate mogul kind of guy, but I have been involved in a number of transactions, and it always comes down to the day at the bank with the ladies from Security Title. They've always got a hand in whatever the real estate transactions are, just to make sure everything goes smoothly and we're clearing escrow and all of that. That's just one of the things that they do over at Security Title. So if you're doing any buying or selling of real estate in this town, I would check in with them first and help them lubricate that process for you. And Ron and Kim are just the nicest people that you're ever going to meet. It's 8:42 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. 888-8255-888-TALK. That's still the phone number, right? We haven't changed it?
No.
Etch it in stone, Brett. Etch it in stone, bro. I'm not even kidding about that. Mark Cruz on the phone?
It's Mark.
What's he going to tell? What, Mark? I swear I looked at it, and it was Pam Duvall and Rico Blancafor that came in first today.
I'm not even going to worry about that.
Good.
No, is Mark still there, or she walked out?
No, she's already gone. She's like right now, closed mic, open door.
Okay. So no, it's just that that press conference that they had yesterday, they had the wrong email address on the press release for Gita. So
oh no.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a public health email address, and they gave him a Gita email address, and I know because that's the one that comes through to my wife. For all her QC grants.
Can you have her take a look at for an email that I sent? We'd applied for the LEAP program and were turned down because apparently I didn't lose enough money and as a result of COVID-19. And I said I've got some peculiarities about the financial resources of this company that I think I'd like to be able to talk to somebody about over at Gita, and no response ever. So,
okay.
Ask her if she can look around for my email. I don't know if there's anything I can do about it now.
I'll have her find the email and then address it to the proper person.
And then fire the guy that ignored me. I mean, that's the idea behind this is, businesses that were affected and impacted. And I think they've set the thresholds for that kind of thing just wildly, too high for some businesses. And there are a lot of businesses that have been disqualified, but should have been able to establish some real loss. That's all I'm saying. 8:44 in the morning. You have a great day.
You too, my friend.
I certainly will. 888-825-588. TALK is a telephone number. I told you I was sick.
Yeah.
I want to live forever. I made that decision. You know when I made that decision for sure? Day my daughter was born. You know, there's that song in that Asteroid movie, Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith. And it's exactly the way I feel about that. I don't want to, I've got this fear of missing out. And I would hate to miss out on, like, really, really important things.
So tell us how to live a lot longer. Right?
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that, Real Joe. So it says, take a hike. But you don't actually have to hike.
Can I take a bike on a hike?
I don't know. Let me read what we've got here for you. If you want to live longer, take a hike and shorter than what you've been told. So I've got a Garmin watch, and the Garmin watch connects to an app called Garmin Connect. And on walking, it says that my daily goal is not 10,000 steps.
No.
But for a long time, they said, it was 10,000 was what you should have been shooting for. So my goal steps today is 8,090, according to this. And if I run, obviously, I hit that goal. 7,000, it says, is the new 10,000 in terms of steps you should shoot for. This is all it takes for those 60 and older to dramatically increase their lifespan. Even for younger adults, the benefits of daily walking level off around 9,000 steps a day. Risk reduction plateaus beyond that number. Walking benefits nearly every cell in the body. And this is from a kinesiologist and public health expert at UMass and lead author of a study that says walking is wildly effective. Walking strengthens your heart, improves bone density, relaxes your mind, and helps with muscle building and pain management. And you can do, almost anybody can do it almost anywhere. Your house, the office, outside. Start with about 30 minutes and work your way up is all they're saying. Just get out there and do 30 minutes. Even walking is going to have some incredible benefits, and they talk about longevity being one of them. Even boosting daily step count to 5,000 for those 60 plus, 7,000 for younger folks. Slashed mortality risk. Are you ready for this? 40%.
Oh, nice.
That's a big number.
I'll see you at 120.
You're
Ray.
still going to die, but your chances of dying are significantly reduced. Most of us can track steps with your phones. If you have a smartphone, you probably already have an app that is counting steps. If not, there's all kinds of places where you can download the thing. There's simple and cheap pedometers, if that's your deal. Most of us can add extra steps to our days with quick decisions, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or calling into a meeting while you're on a walk. So you do your Zoom and walk at the same time. You probably ought to do some swinging of the arms and pumping of the thing, but basically just getting out there and getting steps in is going to do a whole lot for increasing your longevity. There was also a story when somebody was asking, you were asking, I think, how'd they get to that 10,000 number? Just in front of the Tokyo Olympics in 1964, a Japanese company came out with a pedometer that was named Manpokai, which translates to 10,000 steps, and that stuck. So everybody says 10,000 is the number. Manpokai.
Yeah, that's a good number.
There you go. So that, my friends, is how you're going to live forever. 8:47 in the morning, 888-8255, 888-TALK. What do you have Dave Del Sol on the radio yesterday?
We did.
He was talking about jobs, going out and getting jobs.
Yeah,
so
get to work, people.
Yeah.
It's okay, man.
Wouldn't it be great if we didn't have to worry about all those 14,000 families that are on food stamps right now because, we had a thriving economy here on Guam. That, and businesses that didn't have to worry about the uncertainty of COVID-19 and the possibility that somebody could get a wild hair somewhere and then all of a sudden plunge us back into that we're going to, no restaurants, no bars can be open, and no more gatherings of any more than 5 people indoors, and everybody has to wear masks. Hey, it could happen. It could happen. They could say, oh, we got another variant, the BA.2. It's scary. The numbers are coming up there, but it doesn't seem to be having any kind of effect on anybody. But having said that, it would be nice if we got those 14,000 people off of the dole. And what would they do if they were off the dole? There's a good number of jobs that are out there. Accounting clerk over at Guam Plaza. Property management and maintenance must have a basic knowledge of electrical, plumbing, and carpentry, a valid driver's license, and doesn't say anything about passing drug tests. Go to CSR Property Management behind Oka Payless, and they could have something for you. Basic knowledge of electrical, plumbing, and carpentry, that becomes important. And when we say basic knowledge, I mean you need to know at least if I was doing the hiring, right? I'd like to hire somebody more like me when it comes to situations like this, where you go, okay, my limit in electricity goes right up to the panel. Anything from the panel and then back out of the house, I got to call a guy. Anything over 220, I got to call a guy, right? And that's what I think a good maintenance guy knows is where you draw the line on things like that, where you say, I can take care of that, or what's the phone number to Barrett Plumbing? Huh? How do we know how to get hold of those guys? Quality control superintendent in the mechanical energy, blah, 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 blah. I'm looking for stuff that Real Joe and I could fake our way through. Ship repair superintendent. Probably not, huh?
No.
Civil engineer. Did you take civil engineering in high school? Did they have that special class?
I could do that.
At Father Duenas, we had ROTC, Japanese, and civil engineering. Which one did you go to?
I took Army Corps.
There we go. Black Construction is looking for a field engineer and a timekeeper. One of the other interesting things in here is United Pacific Collection Agency has a 2017 Jeep Compass for sale, as is. Where is? Do I like the Compass, or am I more the boxy Jeep style guy?
Yeah, it's kind of a smaller Jeep style.
Oh.
The Compass.
There's a PhD in nautical archaeology that has opened up, an associate professor with a PhD in nautical archaeology announcement at the University of Guam. They're also looking for somebody that's got a PhD in physical chemistry, maybe foreign or equivalent. So if you've got those kinds of skills, see, I told you there were some soft jobs out there. Yeah, if you've got a PhD in physical chemistry, go and apply for a job at the University of Guam. Now, those are the jobs that are available as along with the usual bunch of construction jobs, because even though we've got more than enough H2 workers around here, they're still looking for people that can figure out their way on a what do you call it, a construction site. There is only one real job opening that I see in the Pacific Daily News here, and this is weird because they're asking for, at NC Macario and Associates, they're asking for an IT guy / runner. An IT guy / runner. And I'm going, usually it's an IT guy or a runner. They're not usually the same position because, you know, IT kuya is somebody that's going to spend all day trying to figure out why the printer isn't working for you. And the actual reason why the printer doesn't work for you is because it doesn't like you.
Yeah,
that's all
true.
there is to it. Everybody else can print except you. And
Doesn't like your face.
It's a technical thing. It's IT. Why won't it print? Because it doesn't like you, ladies and gentlemen. And there might be some running involved in there as well. Real Joe and I equal to the running task. 8:52 in the morning, and we finally got her. Oh, my God. I'm so excited because I know she's probably the busiest person over at the legislature. Senator Therese Terlai, a.k.a. Madam Speaker. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Ray, and everyone. I'm good, thanks. Very good.
Well, I'm glad that you've got an opportunity to talk with me. I did receive the email the other day with a package of the bills that you are looking to either repeal or reenact it one way or the other, and they both revolve around the liquid fuels tax that customers are currently paying every time we put a gallon of gasoline in a car.
Right. I'm really excited. We have a hearing set for tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. It's an in-person hearing, so anyone who would like to come in and testify, the bill proposed to repeal the liquid fuels tax. And so we're calculating that there's a 15-cent gasoline tax. There's also a 4-cent automotive surcharge on top of that, and there's a 4-cent mass transit surcharge on top of that.
Wow.
And so altogether it would be 23 cents. Yes, that on every gallon, 23 cents per gallon that we, the government of Guam, can control. We can't control global prices. We can't control, shipping costs at this point. And all the other avenues of trying to control these gasoline prices have not, we haven't really been successful that way. So this is one thing we can control. So that's my proposal. Remove the one part we do control, that's the liquid fuels tax.
Well, I'm crazy about the idea. Here's my testimony. Do it.
All right. Well, I hope you can come down and testify tomorrow too.
Well, I might type that.
My colleagues might need some convincing. So I'm asking everyone who's interested to come down and convince them that this is something that's going to help you and your families keep this money and use it on something other
Well, yeah, and there are going to be people that are, I can hear the opposition already. Well, that's the savings here for the community means less in taxes to the government of Guam, but it doesn't. That money is going to go to drugs. That money is going to go buy Pampers. That money is going to go buy groceries, for which there is a significant premium on in terms of the business privilege tax. And I will get to that here in a second. So I'm crazy about this idea, and I think unfortunately it's a little bit late. Having watched the prices go up as we have recently, but any help to the community right now is going to be of great benefit.
Yes,
Is it?
and this is a long-term. This bill has long-term impact, so it's going to go forward. It goes forward forever if it's passed, and that's my goal. And I think, we are. Yeah, this is something that if we prioritize the rest of our use of general fund revenues, that we are absolutely able to take care of the things that this special fund was paying for before, including road repair, including, some of the money goes to the mayor's offices. And we can cover those. We have $62 million in excess general fund revenues. And I think that can be used if we, are willing to do that. We do that, and we prioritize taking care of roads without putting that burden on these consumers.
I don't disagree with you, but apparently Les Carlson is, and among the things that he points out is that when the BPT years ago was reduced from 6% to 4%, there was no immediate change all of a sudden in the prices of commodities in the grocery stores, et cetera, et cetera. And is it possible that even without having to pay these taxes, that the fuel rates will remain the same?
Well, I've talked to the fuel companies that are doing business on Guam, most of them, I think, all, and they've pretty much committed that, yes, they are going to, this is doable, and the consumers are going to see the difference, that they are going to get this, that there's no way around it. So if we repeal it, they are not able to collect it.
All right. Well, you need eight votes.
Maybe you're suggesting Lester's making. It's like, well, where was he when we were repealing the BPT, right, or lowering it down to 3%? Some people did say that. Well, are the businesses going to show that savings? And yet they were in favor of that at that time. And so I just think it's a matter of what we're going to prioritize spending the general fund on. Are we going to above step recruitments or other things versus, the savings towards consumers.
Go there, Speaker. Go there. I'd love to see that kind of debate, and certainly it happens out here in the rest of the community. Just a few minutes in front of 9 o'clock in the morning. So public hearing tomorrow over at the legislature. It will be in person. There will be some testimony that is going to be provided by I'm sure people over at the governor's office in opposition to this measure. Maybe even Lester Carlson would come down and provide his testimony. So we're going to have to drown that out. You've got to get better than 10 votes on this to make it veto-proof. Do you think you got the votes for that?
I don't know yet. I'm hoping you can help me with that. Yeah, I'm asking everyone's help to convince their senators that this is something that's going to help your families, and we should do it, and your businesses.
Well, it obviously is not going to come from the governor's office, so if it comes from anywhere, it has to be the legislature. And I'd also suggest that maybe you and Jimmy could take a look at some of the bills that he has proposed in the last year or two since the 36th Guam legislature. There are measures in there that would roll back the business privilege tax from its 5% to 4%. The prices of everything has gone up. The amount of taxes the government is collecting on those on that merchandise has gone up as well. But the people of Guam, in my mind, are not getting the added value from the increase in the taxes based on the increase in the prices. And I don't think it's right for the government to be holding as much money as it is. $61 million divided by, let's call it 100,000 residents of Guam, adults, working adults. Yeah. I think that would make a nice.
Yeah, but
it's a nice rebate. Let's
remind everyone that we have done a lot of that. We've given 90% of the businesses on Guam. Instead of rolling it back to 4, we've done better. We've rolled it back to 3 for 90% of the businesses on Guam.
I got to find out which of those 90 I actually shop at. Is Payless one of them? Because I didn't.
I don't know. It depends on the amount of income that they bring in. So the ones that are bringing in the most income, those are the only ones left. Those are the 10%, the top 10%. Yeah.
I'm mostly pay less kind of Home Depot kind of guy. I don't know if they're in the beneficiaries of all of that. But I say level the playing field, Speaker, and just give it to everybody 3%. What do you think?
Everybody's 3%. Well,
yeah,
3%. The proposals on the table. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Okay.
I'm willing to consider all of that. Yeah.
I appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. I got Fox News coming up.
Yeah, we got a hearing this morning at 9. Yeah. Thanks, Ray.
You're welcome, Speaker. I appreciate your time. It's very, very rare that we get a chance to talk to her. And so there it is, kids. I've been clamoring for this since we were paying gasoline in the $4 range, and it looks like it could finally happen. Give the lady and her measure some support tomorrow at the public hearing, because they got to battle Les Carlson and BBMR. It's 9. Here's Fox.
Help. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The president of Ukraine spoke before the UN Security Council and accused the Kremlin of committing war crimes as he again asked the West for more firepower to battle Russian troops.
Ukrainian President Zelensky delivered a video address to the Security Council that painted a graphic picture of the horrors his people have endured during the Russian invasion.
The massacre in our city of Bucha is only one, unfortunately, only one of many examples of what the occupiers have been doing on our land for the past 41 days.
Reports from Bucha have shown bodies in civilian clothing lying in the street, some with their hands bound. President Zelensky said the Russian military must be brought to justice for war crimes and accused the Russian troops of being no different from terrorists like ISIS. In New York, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The White House says new harsher sanctions will be enacted against Russia by the U.S. and Western allies for the atrocities in Ukraine.
The biggest part of our objective here is to deplete the resources that Putin has to continue his war against Ukraine, and obviously causing more uncertainty, and challenges to their financial system is a part of that.
Press Secretary Jen Psaki, the Associated Press reports the sanctions will include a ban on new investments in Russia, toughened sanctions on its financial institutions and government-owned enterprises, and more sanctions on Russian government officials and their family members. Another COVID variant is becoming the dominant strain in the U.S.
There is no evidence that BA2 results in more severe disease compared with the BA1 variant, nor does it appear to be more likely to evade immune protection than BA1. But BA2 does appear to be more transmissible than BA1.
CDC Director Rochelle Walensky. Meanwhile, the CDC's pulled GlaxoSmithKline's COVID antibody drug, saying it's likely ineffective against the new variant. America is listening to Fox News.
Here at Nimitz Towers, we're a large-scale rental complex. We have over 20 employees, and when the pandemic hit, our concerns were people not being able to work, loss of revenue and income, and luckily, due to PPP, we were able to keep all our employees employed, working. We were able to provide services, maintenance, and cleanliness for the building and the operation. Also, the rental assistance program helped us stay solvent during the pandemic and helped us keep the tenants in place.
We're thankful for Congressman San Nicolas advocating for these funds on our behalf in Washington, D.C.
If you have any concerns about any federal issues, feel free to contact your congressman's office.
Thank you for the federal funds. Thank you for the federal funds. Thank you for the federal funds.
Thank you for the federal funds.
Thank you for the federal funds. Thank you for the federal funds.
Paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Another House Republican who supported impeaching former President Trump won't run for re-election.
Michigan Republican Fred Upton says his story in Congress is in its last chapter.
This is it for me. I've done the zillions of airline miles back and forth. I've signed Fred to over 1 million letters, cast more votes than anyone in this chamber while here.
On the House floor, Upton announced he will not run for a 19th term later this year. He is now the 4th Republican who backed impeachment of former President Trump not to seek re-election. Redistricting in Michigan would have forced him into a primary against fellow Michigan Republican Congressman Bill Huizenga. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
A day after buying a major stake in the company, Elon Musk has joined Twitter's board of directors. Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal tweeted that Musk is both a passionate believer and intense critic of the service, which is exactly what we need at Twitter. Musk said he's looking forward to working with Agrawal and the board to make significant improvements at Twitter in the coming months. As recently as last month, Musk has criticized Twitter publicly about his commitment to free speech. Climate questions heating up the internet.
Google says searches for best places to live for climate change more than tripled over the past year in the U.S., with searches for is climate change reversible more than doubling within the same time frame. The tech company also seeing a surge of recent searches for UN Climate Report 2022 and how bad is climate change right now, spiking over 400% over the last year. Some of the top trending questions Americans have been searching include, is climate change getting better? And why is climate change a concern? Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Wall Street stocks fell as a remark by a Federal Reserve governor fueled expectations the central bank may aggressively raise interest rates. The Dow lost 280, the Nasdaq off 328. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate, put cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want, with your Visa debit card. Brothers put branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
Half a day. This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. Gas prices continue to rise, and we are here to help. We have revised Programan Salapig to provide a $300 direct cash assistance payment to most households. We heard your struggle, and we hope this relief will help during these difficult times. Applications will be accepted starting Tuesday, March 15, 2022. For more information, visit doa.guam.gov.
This ad is paid for by the Office of the Governor using government funds.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Half a Day Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Half a Day Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
6 after 9 o'clock in the morning, Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. No, that's not Montesilva Tyrant in the picture. That's Janella Carrera from the Department of Public Health. And I told her this is a mask-free zone, but she's like, dude, I'm public health. I got to wear the mask. I got to put the thing. But every once in a while, you can bring it down so everybody can see your pretty face.
I have my coffee.
See, now when you're drinking, see, ta-da! then we can throw the mask down for just a second as she gets it takes, what is that, vodka, water? What are you drinking there? Coffee?
Secret.
No, right, secret.
It's coffee. It's coffee.
Very good. All right, so we'll continue. It's Public Health Month on the program, so we'll talk about that and more as we make our way into the 9 o'clock hour. She's not alone. She's going to be joined a little bit later on by somebody else from Public Health, another one of the divisions.
Yes. I believe it's Rochelle that's joining us this morning. She'll be talking about breast cancer and cervical.
Right. Okay. And somebody will have to explain to me which parts of the body those are. I have no idea. At any rate, so portions of the program brought to you by APL. That's American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the team over at Nissan Guam. If you might be thinking, okay, well, what is Ray going to sell me now? I'm still crazy about getting you in one of those fantastic pickup trucks that they've got down there, like the Nissan Titan, the best truck warranty in the industry, 5-year, 100,000 miles. You're going to love driving this thing around, and it will love having you in it as a driver passenger. The Nissan Kicks is there, and you're going to love the Nissan Kicks as well. Brand new interior from the ground up. Everything has been redesigned, and what a lot of other car manufacturers consider options, they've got them standard, especially the safety features. It might be some of the safest cars that you're going to drive, and maybe you've seen some of the crazy drivers on Guam. You need that high Nissan level of protection, so test drive one today at nissanguam.com.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
8 after 9 o'clock in the morning, Ray Gibson Show, and in the studio with me, Chanel, that is Janella Carrera from the Department of Public Health and Social Services. And while we're waiting on the rest of the conversation, let me just say hello and welcome to the studio. This is the first time you've had a chance to come in.
This is my first time, and I'm quite impressed by all the technology.
Right? I mean, the little cameras on the microphones and a light that goes on when your mic is hot. All of those things. And we tried to make this as comfortable as possible for the guests, but also as much as we possibly could to impress other members of the media. So and so you're former, I don't know, it's it's the jump from the media on the television and doing that kind of thing to actually being somebody that writes the press releases, that does the stories. How was that transition for you?
It actually it went quite well. And here she is. Hi, come on in.
Come on in, but don't worry about it. I'm just going to interview her while you get comfortable. You get to sit in that chair over there. No, in this one. Don't
worry.
Over here, Mom. It's okay. And don't look in Janella's purse while you're there.
No, don't.
So tell me about the transition. What was it like? Because look, we're media people, and we know how. Other media people that have gone into the government, we know that
they call it going over to the dark side.
The dark side, exactly. So not quite as dark for you, I think.
No, because when you're in the media, you read press releases, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know the structure of a press release. It's a little different, but it's really quite the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I already knew how to structure a press release. I knew how you're supposed to write one. So I mean, it was pretty easy. Writing a press release.
And to the degree that there is a whole lot of outside work, I mean, one of the 8 to 5 job is non-existent in the world of radio and television. A lot of weekend work, a lot of nighttime work, and I find that you are still kind of in that schedule.
Yes.
I mean, the Department of Public Health, 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job, especially with the testing
COVID, right.
and the vaccines, and you've been there for most of those.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, actually, I found that when you transition over to Guam, it's actually a lot more work.
So this is not the way a lot of people would look at it and go, yeah, I need to be at the office at my desk doing Sudoku by somewhere around 8 o'clock in the morning. We need to be eating lunch at 12, not going to lunch at 12.
No.
And we need to be, back in the office after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. So you use the whole hour, as it were.
Yeah, no, a lot of times I don't get to do lunch. I have to eat lunch at my desk while I'm working. So.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad that you're here in the studio for many reasons. Say what you want to about public health and the whole reaction to COVID-19, but there are still things that go on at public health on a day-to-day basis. Have nothing to do with COVID-19, nothing to do with lockdowns and executive orders and summaries and things like that. There are still things that they do on a regular basis. It's still where you go to get a marriage license.
Absolutely.
It's still where you go to get a death certificate. It's still where you go when you need things of a medical nature that you might not be able to afford outside. So we'll talk about those things. But first, I have to also note that Chanel brought goodies.
Yes.
A variety of sari snacks that we've got. Where can you buy this?
John B's Mart.
Where is John B's Mart?
So we're located over at NCS behind Shell gas station. Real Joe was asking me about Choconut. So I promised him I would bring him some.
Yeah, because you asked me to ask her.
So Ricardo, who I saw last night, gave me. Yeah, these are like 90 pesos if you were to buy it in a store. Yeah, I think it's 90 pesos. But anyway, so now my understanding, and I did not try it because I didn't want it to blunt the beer, but it's a peanut milk chocolate, and it has I want to say there's a polvoron kind of sensation that you get, and then it's wrapped up in sugar. And the good news, wrapped up in chocolate, the good news is even if you have braces, you can eat chocolate. I know this because I've offered some to somebody that has braces. And then, of course, we also have the ensaimada.
Yes, I brought 3. One for you, one for Mon, and one for Real Joe.
Okay.
What is that?
It's the one with cheese on it.
It's ube.
Yeah, ube.
Was it balut in the middle?
There's no balut in.
I should have brought that kind.
Yeah, that's for Real Joe.
I brought 2 kinds of chocolate. This is chocolate. This is a different brand, just in case you want to try the
okay. Now, all of the people in accounting are listening going, he's going to save some of that stuff for us, right? And what have we got here? This is pinipig with buko.
That is suman. This is kind of like up in CNMI they make what do you call that?
A piggy?
I can't remember. It's like also wrapped in. A piggy,
Okay.
yeah, but in the Philippines, it's our version of a piggy. It's really
so
good.
what is buko?
Buko is coconut.
Okay, all right,
yeah.
okay. So about the same
And
thing.
I brought you a Royce chocolate.
Royce chocolate, yay! Somebody didn't have to go to Japan for this. This is awesome. Or the Philippines. And as far as I know, you guys are the only ones that have Royce chocolate.
Oh, well, there you go.
On a going basis.
Yeah.
And then we've got, wait a second, this
Sans
is...
Rival.
Sans Rival. Okay, so I'm going to get some of that.
And then I brought Jayco donuts.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Are they now?
It's chocolate.
They're fresh from the Philippines, so like a plane like recently landed from the PI, and
Yes.
all of this stuff came
This
out.
was from our Monday shipment.
Okay, and today's only Wednesday, so it's all going to
It
be
should still
good.
be
You,
good.
you also do Krispy Kreme, don't you?
Yes, I was going to bring that, but I figured, you know what?
No.
I'm going to bring you a different brand.
I appreciate that.
I'll bring that on Friday.
See, now you got me wishing again. We were talking, Ricardo and I had a conversation last night, and I had some ladies in from Mega World here at the radio station for a visit yesterday. So like Manila has been in my head, and I keep thinking, okay, well maybe it's time to start at least planning the trip back to the Philippines. But you know people that have come and gone from the Philippines.
Yes.
Is it normal? Are we back to normal?
Yes, actually, a lot of people are telling me that it's business as usual.
Mm.
The only difference is people are wearing their masks.
Yeah.
And they're being enforced.
Yes.
But it's not much of an enforcement because people are complying.
But it's not, how do I want to say this? Because they've had this weird kind of lockdown in different places. So if there was a surge or a hot spot, they'd lock that area down, and literally 10 or 15 feet, that would be a whole separate area with different mitigations and protocols going on. So most of that has been dealt with?
Yeah, and so, when they enforce these lockdowns, when they mention, like, okay, this area is in lockdown, or it's not called lockdown, by the way. I forget what they call it. They comply. It's almost like a regime, right?
Well, I mean, they don't actually have a constitution like we do here.
Exactly.
So yeah, when they say that the police will be out enforcing this, it means the police with batons and guns are going to be out there enforcing this.
Right.
And then if you get caught on the wrong side of the curfew, if you get caught on the wrong side of the line, there's going to be a problem. But for the most part, it should be simmering down. If for no other reason, it's an election year.
Exactly. And in election year, it's kind of fearful. You know, you don't want to be caught in areas you're not supposed to be in.
Well, I know where those areas are. I know. I try to avoid them myself. All of a sudden, you get that feeling like I'm not sure I should be in this place. It's not as well lit as the other spots. Have you? You haven't had a chance to go back recently, have you?
No. I haven't been back since 2019.
Are you? Is there a plan?
Probably not for a while. I'll probably wait till after election. My parents are there right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
For medical reasons.
As you know, we hear from the referral offices here on Guam, and yeah, they are starting to see kind of an uptick in people that have been putting off for whatever reason. And I'm going to ask you to sit down. But please don't stay. You got to come on over here. You're fine, but the microphone cannot hear you.
Oh, okay.
Is she not going to talk on the radio?
We can start our interview now.
Yeah, it's okay. Very shy. Okay, well, Janella, you're going to have to carry it for her as we move forward.
Very shy.
It's okay. I'm Rosemary's kid. You know my mom. 9:16 in the morning.
Some stuff, and I don't have.
Oh no, this is from all of us.
I can get you the drinks.
No, that's.
I can get you the drinks.
Well, that's fine. So now. Eleven's is right in the back. That's right. So come on over and we'll have the conversation. Public Health Month is going on. So tell me all about that.
Sure. Well, so actually,
this is one of two interviews, by the way.
Yes. So public health is usually celebrated in 1 week, but we decided at Public Health we want to do the whole entire month. That's just because we want to honor. I mean,
there are many divisions in the Department of Public Health. Most people only familiar these days with the divisions that are taking care of all of the COVID work that needs to get done. The Division of Environmental Health has a lot of those guys were tasked with not just environmental health inspections, but also checking compliance and on the mitigations. And I don't think there's any of those anymore, are there?
We still do COVID-19 inspections, and you get those reports.
Yeah, I get the reports every once in a while. But they all kind of read the same in my head. But basically, there's not a lot of violations, but not as many inspections as I originally thought there was going to be. Even at this time, has that slowed down?
Not that it's slowed down, but we don't get a lot of complaints. Most people are compliant, and even when we do get complaints and we do inspections, a lot of the times they go out, they do the inspection, and most people are compliant, or they go and see, say, for example, there is something that needs to be corrected, and they correct it on the spot.
Well, yeah, and the same thing with environmental health when they're going looking for bugs in a kitchen,
Right.
and making sure the employees wash their hands in the restaurants and the bars and things like that. So yeah, I can sort of get that. But what do we have to do now? What do the businesses have to do? Retail and whatever. Do they still have to worry about the 6-foot dots on the floor?
No.
Contact tracing's gone.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, for the most part, we're kind of already transitioning into where we were before. For the most part.
For the most part, it's
Right.
it's the mask mandate that's left anymore, right?
Mostly the mask.
Uh-huh.
But tables and chairs don't really have to be 6 feet apart anymore.
Mhm.
The only thing, and we don't have to do the sign in for the log sheet anymore.
Right.
So most
There are, you know what, though, Janelle, there's still some places that you walk in and they say, okay, we need your name and your phone number and all this other. I'm going.
They even ask for the village.
Yeah, what's that? Is this
Why
a
do you wanna know where I
petition for
live?
somebody? Am I supporting somebody running for office? So yeah, there's you don't need to do that anymore. And I think one of the reasons why they still are doing that, and maybe we'll talk about this for a second, is that the word has not reached everybody yet, and as many people, they got into the compliance here as a result of reading stories about businesses that were being inspected and the ones that needed to follow through on things like contact tracing, sanitization, social distancing measures, and making sure all of the employees inside wore masks. They got that message, I think, through reading about businesses that had been pinched for that. But we're not hearing so much about the rollback. I mean, I know that you guys issued the after the executive orders, you issued the guidance memos. But I don't know that those are read in very wide circulation. So
Yeah, there might be a few and far between some businesses that haven't received the word yet and may not be taking back those sign-in log sheets.
So you don't need the sign-in sheets at the front anymore. You don't have to dedicate an employee to that. You should still sanitize the tables and the chairs when the customers leave. If you're in that kind of business, and until the mask mandate is lifted one of these years, you should probably have them wearing a mask on the inside when the customers come.
Right. Well, so with the
But like the plexiglass stuff, we don't need the plexiglass
we don't need
no more.
We don't. Well, the plexiglass was really if you weren't able to distance your tables 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
Then a plexiglass would suffice.
But now we don't have to worry about the distancing anymore.
So you don't need
you
the
can get rid. So are you buying those back? Is Public Health going to buy those back from all the businesses that went out and I'm sure at great expense got themselves? Look at the plexiglass that we got between me and Joe, for heaven's sakes. You got the. I'm kidding. That was always there.
I know.
So what are they supposed to do with those things now?
I think some businesses actually decided to keep them. I've seen some of them decide to keep them, and I think it's for good measure.
I suppose. I don't know. Now, what about the thing at the drive-through when I give the lady my money and she puts and it goes into a little Tupperware and then handles the money and then gives me back the change in that same Tupperware? Can we tell the fast food places they can stop doing that?
They can stop doing that if they wanted to, but if they elect to keep on with that type of practice, I mean, they certainly can.
I think that was a point that has been made in virtually every one of the guidance memos that has come out. These restrictions are being relaxed at our level, but if you feel that that's good to keep your customers safe, from you and you safe from your customers, then by all means go ahead and continue those kinds of things. So as I said, getting into this, there's a number of different divisions in the Department of Public Health, and DEH and others, because of COVID-19, might be the ones that we're aware of. But tell me about some of the other divisions you work with.
I believe we have 6. So there is Division of General Administration. We have DEH, so that's Division of Environmental Health. We have Division of Child Wellness, which is newly formed through executive order.
Yeah, a lot of money $100 million that have been spent on that new division there, and we're seeing through a variety of programs. There was all the daycares got the whole bucket of money from the governor.
That was just announced yesterday.
And yesterday the other one now that will broaden now the applicability of the child care. So we got that new division that has been stood over at Public Health. Who else?
So we have Division of Public Welfare. So that's number 4, and then we have Division of Public Health, which is one of the largest ones.
Okay,
Yes.
which is you.
Yes.
So now, and we'll get to start talking about that. The Division of Public Health. What are some of the things we're here to talk about? Breast and cervical cancer.
That's actually my program.
Among other things that you do in that branch.
And the last one is Division of Senior Citizens. But let's get to
I'm there. 55. I'm 55 plus. No. Let's go. I'm 60 years old in May, and so what do I get for being a senior citizen? What do I get? I get a card from the governor every year on my birthday?
You get 15%, 10% discount at Ross.
There's a date.
Just look for the date.
I got you. I got you. All right. But tell me about. There's a special program now.
Yeah. Actually, good morning, everyone. And this is just caught me unaware. I love to see you here.
I love to see her too.
Oh my God. We never see each other. She's a hustler, and I'm from Dedido. So,
I got you. Okay.
So we never see each other. And thank you for this opportunity, Ray.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
No, I know the Dedido shop. This is where my daughter went when she needed to get her health certificate.
Yes.
Yeah, because she was working at the coffee place. Yeah, so you have to watch a video and take a test for that, right?
Okay, and of course the program I was told just to speak about the program that I have.
By all means.
The Guam Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program, which I know we can still reach women out there who doesn't know about the program. We've been here since 1999 when we first funded by the CDC.
Yeah.
So this is a federally funded program. It's 100% in agreement with the Department of Public Health and Social Services to aid in the fight against breast and cervical cancer. So by this, this offers free mammogram and pap smear, or meaning pre-breast and cervical cancer screening. So for those qualified women. So how are you going to be qualified in the program? You should be 21 years old to 64 years old. We cannot expand our age bracket because of the funding that we have. We depend on the funding that we have.
Well, and generally breast cancer is not an issue for younger women.
Yes.
So starting around 21.
For now, we have seen a lot of problems with younger women. We have cases like 30 years old, 40 years old, or below 20 or 20 years old who have come to our program with problems like lumps and then turn out to be cancer.
Yeah.
Pain, discharge, and turn out to be cancer. But this is not to scare women out there. Not just because you have lumps, you have discharge, you have pain in the breast, doesn't mean that you got cancer.
But
all you need
check.
to do, yes.
But
this is
check with
why it's so
somebody.
important that when you have all these symptoms, even in the cervical screening, even if you have pain, if you have experiencing pain, especially after you have your sexual intercourse, bleeding, it doesn't mean that you have cervical cancer. All you have to do is to check on that. So you have to go and see the doctor, do your pap, which is the golden test for cervical cancer.
Is that
in
administered? Do you administer those tests there, or do you refer?
We do have, because our program is a federally funded program. First and foremost is to find our providers who can do business or can do services with us. So we issue this every 5 years for those clinics, facility who wants to be part of our program. So once they are qualified or once they join with us, they are our providers. So we send our patient only there.
Well, it seems to me that those providers should be anxious to do the work because they know they're going to get paid.
They're going to pay,
yes. It's good. It's that sweet federal money.
Yeah, but they have to undergo into the RFP or the request for proposal.
But many businesses
so you have
are happy
do all
to do
those
that.
Stuff,
Are there, when we start talking about things like breast cancer, cervical cancer, and the ones that men get, are there cultural? Are there reasons why different cultures might be hesitant to go and get these checks? I mean, there are going to be some that say, okay, go ahead and I'll put my legs in the stirrup, no problem. And others that might be a little bit more shy because of cultural sensitivities. If that does exist, how do you deal with things like that?
Yeah, because, Guam is multi-ethnicity. We have deal with a lot of ethnicity.
Filipino lady is very shy.
We have to deal with a lot of ethnicity. First and foremost, the Chamorros, the Asians, different Asians. and of course the Pacific Islander, the Micronesian that we have. So all this boils into a culture, belief, social, religious, So I think the number one, I guess, that they have hesitant to go into their doctor is because of fear, knowing that when they do their screening, they found out to have a cancer. What will they gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, and because our program is only for those uninsured, we cater those who are uninsured. So mostly these people have no insurance. They started with no insurance, much more when they were diagnosed with cancer.
This is a problem. I think one of the things that has been magnified as a result of COVID-19 is the number of people that live here on Guam that have virtually no access to traditional healthcare needs. People that take a job or not take a job based on the availability of health insurance for them and their family. And in many cases, those benefits are falling away because there's a lot of people, if they're working, they're not working full-time and may not be able to earn that benefit. So as a result, public health becomes the safety net for them. So that, the good news is that, we might find cancer, but we might find it's not cancer. So let them tell you, let them find a way to get you in front of a doctor that can give you the test that you need to get that done.
We're very happy when they are screened and they don't have cancer because they just, stay for 1 year and then rescreen again for another year.
Scary though.
Yeah, but what if they have cancer, even just abnormalities, they do have to do some other stuff because it doesn't stop with mammogram, pap smear, HPV. After abnormality has been, noticed or detected, they have to undergo a lot of series of tests or procedures. So that, but I'm glad that the program covers all those stuff.
Oh, still?
Yes.
So even if it doesn't turn out to be breast cancer, there's still...
So from biopsy, from ultrasound, additional view, diagnostic mammo, from MRI, biopsy, consult from surgeon, and to gynae, all that we cover. The only thing that we don't cover is the treatment. So that's the challenge with the program because we don't cover. But what, we do certain, assistance to the patient.
There are other places in the government for where they might be able to find the funds.
Of course, the first and foremost is to apply for public assistance within the Department of Public Health and Social Services, which we hope or hopefully we pray that they will be qualified.
Well, there's a number of people that disqualify themselves when it comes down to
we hope and pray that they
you
qualify.
might actually qualify for something like this, and you don't know until you get there. Of course, one of the other things that we have to overcome is the schism, if you will, and some people that might be kind of don't want to be associated with, I got checked over at public health, and as opposed to I went to the doctor, I went to go see the guys over at Medical City or something like that. So there might be some people that are hesitant to talk about that or to take those steps because they think that it might not be inappropriate for them and wherever they are in society. But as I say, go and get yourself checked out and find out what's wrong with you in a place like that. Are there similar services for men?
Oh, that's always the question with women.
Well,
coming to our program.
Well, I have
why
breasts
are you
too.
only servicing, especially if the woman brings their husband, right? What about me?
Yes.
So we really applied for those like colonoscopy, colorectal cancer screening grant. But because Guam is really a small small area for them from the CDC, so maybe that's the reason why. And we also have applied before. The program tries to apply before with the women's it covers everything. When the women comes to our program, it covers their hypertension, their diabetes, all those stuff.
But not so much for the guys.
But
so
it's
guys,
a competitive brand, and I think they're looking about geographically, the location, the number of population, all those
and
stuff.
we're in competition with other grant writers in other communities.
And it's not even in the U.S., not even all of the states have that grant.
Okay.
So much more with the Guam.
Interesting conversation. And now, as part of the outreach, and I hope as many different people and as many different cultures are able to hear this, are there plans to do more outreach over the course of the month, for Public Health Month, to reach into the different communities that we've we've got in their own languages to be able to tell them about what is available to them. Because, I mean, this is like for all residents of Guam, not just the Filipinos, not just the Chamorros, not just the Asians. If Micronesians need to know about this, especially because if we don't catch it early, they become chronic issues, show up at the Guam Memorial Hospital, and then the bills get much higher than anybody can pay, unfortunately.
The only thing that really stopped us from outreach is because of this pandemic. But now that we are trying to transition into, going out again, so we might have a lot of outreaches again. Going out, especially me, I'm doing a lot of outreaches before, or even just myself.
Yeah.
I go to the supermarkets, Payless, Costless, American grocery.
Unrelated, but sort of related. I mean, there was just a big deal over at Paseo a couple of weeks ago on Saturday, for the folks in the diabetes community.
Yes, that's the diabetes alert, drive-through alert.
Yeah, and it'd be no problem. Put up another tent and have people come by and get information about cervical cancer and breast cancer.
And there's one after that in the afternoon was the newcomers, the Chukis population ladies. So that they did also their own outreach within their community. So that's how good for now.
Just to let people know that it's out there and available, and that's going to be the point of the interviews. We were also going to have Vince come by and talk about STDs and STIs. Oh, we are going to have that on Friday. On Friday.
Oh, I thought this is today.
No, that's on Friday.
Take a little bit of fun out of the weekend here. Just that subtle warning about STDs and STIs, of which, unfortunately, per capita, we
are
rank
one of the highest.
Exactly.
And then I think there's a fair this coming Saturday. Over at Haggett Basitan in Agate.
Okay.
Haggett.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be doing free STI screening. So.
That's perfect. Ladies, bring your boyfriends down.
And then
real Joe's eyes. What? Huh?
And then
what do you mean a test?
There's one coming. Actually, the one from the GSAT. The Guam System of Assistive Technology.
Okay.
They have 2 days outreach or health fair at the Aganya Shopping Center.
I was going to say it's time to start bringing in the malls.
23-24, yeah.
Yes.
And my partner's wife runs one of the malls now. So will there be any outreaches or public health month awareness things going on at the Micronesia Mall?
I don't know about the Micronesia Mall, but we are doing a bunch of Zoom presentations for the different divisions throughout the month.
21 and the 21.
So we're doing that April 19th through the 21st.
Zoom's not fun.
Mine is 21.
Well, it's for the different divisions.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about the different divisions, and we posted that on our social media pages.
Okay.
So all the different divisions will be presenting about what they offer.
Do we have a public health TikTok? Is that what you're saying?
No, we don't. I've thought about it, but you know how much resources you need to dedicate.
I don't know. Look, Mindy's doing a whole lot of Instagram. Have you noticed that? Yeah, we all the media people follow each other. That's it's a habit that never goes away. And Mindy's been doing a whole lot on Instagram these days. Some amusing stuff to be sure. Are you going to be doing some
TikTok?
Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
Facebook.
Yes, absolutely.
You've been, this gig over at Public Health has kept her very, very busy. I don't see as much of you as I'm used to, and on your social media stuff. So so they're part of the outreach is obviously going to be going to Facebook places. You got the verticals in Instagram, etc.
Yeah, so we have a health disparities grant, and part of that grant is to go out into the community, of course, and do outreach.
Okay.
We want to partner with the Diabetes Coalition, the Diabetes Group, because we know that for COVID-19,
those people are hustlers. They're out there. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So and the Diabetes Alert drive-through, they were in full force. With the health disparities grant, we part of it is to procure our own mobile lab and go out into the community and conduct outreach in pockets of areas
and be able to test.
Yeah, test, vaccinate,
and do our screening.
And do screening as well.
Yeah,
it's diabetes screening and offer other services.
Even just pop test, clinical breast.
Well, that is not as much fun as it sounds, unfortunately. 9:37 in the
But that's
morning.
really the purpose of the disparity grant.
Well,
Yes.
by all means, let me know, and you guys are always welcome to come by the radio station, especially if you're going to be bringing some sari-sari goodies from
I
the
promise I get
Philippines.
to the 11th.
11th is
Yeah, it's just across there.
they're not really our company, but kind of, sort of, yeah. You know, we're real tight. We share, parking lots and everything. 9:37. Let me get back to a little bit of the interview with you, because it's literally the first time that I've seen you in a couple of years, and with the gig over at Public Health. You originally started at the governor's office, and it looked like the work was shifting over, and they would need somebody that could manage the outreach and public awareness at Public Health. So I'm glad that you got that gig. So what did you learn?
At Public Health?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're in the media. We think we know everything, right? And in many cases, I know in my case, I do. But all of a sudden, you find yourself over at the Department of Public Health. It's a big chunk of the government of Guam, and so what did you learn there? I mean, the first couple of days that you're going, wow, this is kind of an eye opener.
There's actually a lot to learn at Public Health. There's a lot to learn in terms of healthcare, in terms of outreach, in terms of what the community really needs, all the facets of healthcare alone. There's so much out there. And then I developed an interest in public health, and I've actually thought about, maybe I want to change courses here.
Really?
Right. No, really. I all the terminology.
There's an image of you in a nurse outfit. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Well, when I had to put on all the PPEs.
Yeah, oh my God. No, there's nothing sexy about PPEs. That's enough of that. And I'm happy that we seem to be moving out of that particular phase. It's one of those things you've been given, I think, from the perspective of somebody in the media, you've been given a rare opportunity to see inside. A lot of people, you think about, Guam, public health, whatever. But there's a whole lot of need in this community, and public health, I think, happily reaches out to fill some of those gaps.
Right. And public health, it's not just one area of study. There's epidemiology, there's research, there's healthcare, there's clinical, there's all sorts of different areas in public health. Right. So, the prevention, you pick the minds of doctors, nurses, epidemiologists.
Many of I didn't know existed until COVID-19 came along, and they have doctors there. I had no idea.
Exactly.
And terminal degree folks. Speaking of one of the things that you mentioned that you guys were working on, this might have been a month ago, and it's in my head, but it hasn't really gone much further than that conversation. You were doing writing clinics at Public Health in a desire to rewrite, if you will, some of the model that goes into pandemic reactions.
Right. So,
is that job, are you done with that now, or do you have something to read?
We did finish the pandemic. You're talking about the Guam pandemic plan.
Yeah.
So we did finish, I believe, so the writing retreat is done. However, I think there is some discussion about the possibility of doing another retreat. And we wanted to refine it further. So I'm not sure where we are with that, but and this is the Guam pandemic plan that was initiated back in 2008, I believe.
Yeah.
The original one. And so we want to update that.
Right.
And so I think there are discussions about the possibility of another one.
Because I wasn't sure at the beginning of the pandemic that anybody had read the one that came out in 2008, because things weren't being planned and weren't being executed in what I consider to be the right places according to that documentation. I think there were a lot of people that were just, by the seat of their pants early on, and it showed. And just need to read the OPA's report.
It's definitely obsolete and needs updating.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we had to bring everybody to the table and just kind of sit down together, pick apart this old plan and look at the areas that need to be updated based on where we're at now, based on reality, based on what everybody's experienced, and then look toward the future and say, hey, what do we want to prevent? What do we want to do? And how do we want to,
Well, but not to get into a debate on this, but yeah, I think one of the things that we need to do is take a look at everything that came out, each executive order, each one of the guidance memos that came out of the Department of Public Health, and really sit down and look at them and say, okay, this made a difference, this didn't make a difference. I mean, at the end of all of this, I think COVID came and did what COVID wanted to do, regardless of whether we were 6 feet apart, regardless of whether we were wearing masks, regardless of whether the kids were playing in their sports, and all of those things that people came to live with. I don't know how many of them really were effective in holding COVID down or flattening the curve, however we want to determine success.
Well, so the pandemic plan is more of a plan of action, not necessarily. I don't even think we looked at executive orders or guidance memos. It was more like, how do we ensure for example, communications planning, or like vaccination rollout, those types of things. So it wasn't really talking about how do we enforce rules or, for example, how do executive orders play a role in this? It was more planning for, in the event that there's another pandemic or another disease outbreak.
Right.
So that's more how this pandemic plan is put into place.
Well, I'd like to take a look at it, and I think there does need to be does need to be after action. We got 2 years worth of executive orders, we got 2 years worth of guidance memos from public health, and the myth and legend one way or the other about COVID-19 and the reaction to it here on Guam. And did anything that we do at the end of all of this make any difference at all? People were gonna die from it. People were going to get it and feel sick. People are going to get it and not feel a thing. And as we watched each day and month march on, it was pretty clear that COVID was doing pretty much what COVID wanted to do.
Absolutely, it does go through a public review period.
When are you going to buy me that drink over at Phil's place? Venue, do I need to beep you and let you know where I'm drinking these days so you can come by and get one? Or
I don't even go out anymore.
Oh my God, nothing but trouble when you do. At 9:34 in the morning, Chanel, it's a pleasure having you here. Thanks very much for bringing me the snacks. Those are going to be consumed and very much appreciated. Again, where did you get those?
John B's Mart.
Got to end with the commercial. Michelle, thank you for coming to the station. I'm glad that you're not nervous anymore. We've got to take a longish break. I'm going to do some selfies with the ladies here, and Real Joe's going to play these commercials.
Hafa-day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apo.com.
Hey, what did the grilled cheese sandwich say to their date?
What'd they say?
You make me melt.
Oh, so cheesy.
But not as cheesy as Subway's latest Eat Fresh Refresh menu innovation. The new Fresh Melts with 3 times the cheese. Fresh Melts are the cheese lover's holy grail. Fresh Melts combine freshly baked breads and your favorite meats topped with a triple load of cheese. All grilled to warm, toasty perfection. Try the ham and cheese melt, tuna melt, or steak and cheese melt to start. Best of all, you can make any footlong into a fresh melt. At Subway, eat fresh.
Here at Nimitz Towers, we're a large-scale rental complex. We have over 20 employees, and when the pandemic hit, our concerns were people not being able to work, loss of revenue and income, and luckily, due to PPP, we were able to keep all our employees employed, working. We were able to provide services, maintenance, and cleanliness for the building and the operation. Also, the rental assistance program helped us stay solvent during the pandemic and helped us keep the tenants in place.
We're thankful for Congressman San Nicolas advocating for these funds on our behalf in Washington, D.C.
If you have any concerns about any federal issues, feel free to contact your congressman's office.
Thank you for the federal funds. Thank you for the federal funds. Thank you for the federal funds.
Thank you for the federal funds.
Thank you for the federal funds. Thank you for the federal funds.
Paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Check out the newest hydro and garden center to hit Guam, Crop King Hydro. We have a huge selection of plant nutrients, soils, hydroponic mediums, organic pest control pumps, plant support, tools, and so much more. Call 635-4769. 635-GROW. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Dedito Satina Mall, right across from Payless and Paradise Fitness. For whatever you grow, think Crop King Hydro. Crop King Hydro. Portions of the program, 946, brought to you by my friends over at Mescla. And when I say my friends there, I want you to know, Chef Peter and I are old school. I remember when all he could make was grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
And now he's doing all kinds of great Lenten favorites that you can only find over at Mescla. And also, I want to point out that he's got a new employee there. Her name is Valine. And Valine is a friend of mine as well. And I insist that if she serves you over at the Mescla place, do me a favor and tip her generously. Thank you very much. And enjoy the spicy buttered shrimp, the fish tacos, parrotfish escabeche, guys. Lots and lots of crab-crusted Chilean sea bass. Now, you almost have to Google this because there's a thing where they take crab and they, I don't know, fricassee it or fry it or something like it so that it kind of comes out into a little kind of a crunchy crab thing. And so you dust that over the Chilean sea bass, and oh my God, the flavors and the textures in your mouth simultaneously fighting for attention. Do that with a reservation. It's 479-2652, 479-2652. Reservations for lunch or dinner at Mescla today. It's at 9:48 in the morning, and I really got to get into the habit. After virtually every interview I do with somebody, and especially girls, there's selfies that I take, and I sit and I go, you know what, I need to post this, or I got to stick it up on the website or something like that, and I completely forget about it. But I think this is going to be the one that I'm going to be reminded to put up on the website. I know some of you might be disappointed because Chanel was wearing the mask for the duration of the interview, and you're like, but wait a second, she's pretty in the face. Can you show the face of the Chanel? And the answer is yes, I can. So there it is a picture of Janelle Carrera and a guy that's old enough to be her grandfather.
Maganda.
Ganda. Ganda ka. She's so ganda. But there she is. And you guys can... Yeah, be jelly all you want.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the best job in the whole wide world. Now, she's going to be back on Friday.
Day after tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, day after tomorrow, because the conversation has to go into STDs and STIs. And some of you may have already gone through the process. 888-8255, 888-TALK. Sorry, I got to... And then, of course, there was that part of the conversation where she was talking about maybe switching careers, getting out of public affairs and public information, and maybe getting into public health. And we're all, I think, at the same time, Somebody beeped me and said, "What's that? Janella in scrubs?" Uh-huh. Are you okay there, Joe?
I'm fine.
Take a breath.
We're
Take a
hiring
breath.
here, right?
Yeah. Well,
she could move over here.
You know, if Mana runs for office, if Mana does, and I'm not saying she is, but if she does, that might be Plan B. If I can afford her. In 10 minutes, it'll be 10 o'clock in the morning. Greg Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. 888-8255, 888-TALK. Items in the table of contents, some of which I've managed to get to and some not. I don't generally like to go backwards, but if you're just coming into the program here this morning at this time, you've missed a lot. You missed a lot. We had really some exciting conversation with Pete Santos. It's attorney Pete Santos, and we're not all of us are ever going to agree on the same thing. You know that I like Mike Sinicolas, got a great personal relationship with him, and generally thinking he's doing a pretty good job in his role in Congress. And while he was at the legislature, and I think he'd make an interesting candidate for governor of Guam, depending on who he's running with. I know I got to change this.
I'm sorry, man.
This is real. Real Joe keeps looking at the picture. He's like, "Can you take that off the
Their
thing?"
hair looks so soft, man. You know, and the shirt, the blouse,
yeah,
the color. Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be. You want me to send this to you? She said, "Could you send it to her?" And I said, "Absolutely." But I think you want me to send it to you, right? I know how to change your emotions here. Let me just let me get another picture up on the screen here. There we go. Okay. Now, how do you feel? Okay, so, but at any rate, Pete Santos, and he's got a bias not necessarily for Mike Sinicolas. In fact, in that open letter to the people that you may see published here in the next couple of days, you'll see a couple of references to issues that that involve Mike Sinicolas and some property, and the idea that maybe the Attorney General should have been a little bit more forward-moving on that particular issue. At any rate, I think he's a good guy, and I think maybe the Attorney General's office might be a good place for him. Now, I'm saying this at the same time in my head, I'm thinking about Doug Moylan, who I also have a personal bias for because he's good for talk radio. But what the heck? Pete's going to be good for talk radio as well. So I think this is going to be one of those cases where, depending on who the challengers are, I don't know that I'm going to be dissatisfied if one of them wins the office of Attorney General in 2022. Certainly other positions that we're gunning for. Harvey Egna is running for senator, and maybe it was for many of you the very first time that you ever heard his voice and an idea of what it is that annoys him. And what annoys him is the same thing that annoys me. Pick up a copy of the Guam Daily Post today. Page 1 story, child molester, 10 years in prison. I don't know. Where's the conversation? Where is Brent McCready and the conversation about castration?
I remember
I'm referring to chemical castration,
yes,
but I know that many of you out there going,
when you hear the word
child molester, and going, there's no cure in that. There is no cure for that. Chemical castration is the nice thing to do. There's others that would be more leaning towards the real castration in this case. $15,000 bail for a suspect in a case alleging where the girl alleges that she was raped by this guy 40 times.
Yeah, but he's going to have an ankle monitor, eh?
Oh, then that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. I don't know who's at the other end of that television channel. What TikTok is that? And you turn the page and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Sexual assault suspect has been released from prison. And the story that they tell in this about the woman found unconscious and went into a state of shock, adding that her body went numb before she blacked out from whatever it is that she was going through. The amount of courage that it takes for somebody to come forward and say that they were raped in this community. Can you imagine how much worse it's going to be for the victims of rape, knowing that these guys might not get anywhere close to being punished for what they have caused? Rape suspect released on electronic monitoring. It was noted during the hearing that the victim still fears for her safety. But this guy's going out, decided he didn't want to be in jail, made a request to the judge, and the judge very reluctantly released him. As long as you said, John, very reluctantly, I guess everything is all right. Man denies raping 10-year-old girl. We gotta start sending out messages that in this polite society that we have, certain acts are unacceptable. Criminal sexual conduct against minors, criminal sexual conduct, period, is not going to be tolerated around here. And I don't know that there are enough guys that are getting the message. 9:54 in the morning, and maybe Pete's going to do something about that. Maybe somebody over at the legislature might be reading it. I don't understand how it is that we've got so many women in power on Guam. Governor, Speaker of the legislature, lots of women over at the legislature, lots of women over in the court, and how there isn't already a separate and really bad form of punishment that meets these guys. You got to go on the sex offender registry. Is that like Facebook? Huh? Is it how's is it like social media? No, I don't think so. 9:55 in the morning. So that was among the more alarming things that greeted us as we woke up this morning. There's another story on the front page of the Guam Daily Post. 5 airlines apply for the Guam subsidy, and so I don't know if I'm down for this. You know, it feels. I don't know.
That's a break, right? They get a break.
So I'm the airline.
Yeah.
And I've already sold that seat. I got a guy bought that seat, but GVB is now going to pay me $100 for that seat. So I either make more money on the seat, or I can charge the customer less. Now I don't know what's happening at the airline level. I don't know how that's playing out at the airline level. But I just wonder about that. I know that we've got to do whatever we can to prime the pump on hospitality. But when it comes down to the subsidies, I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's got that feeling like, a hostess bar. The only reason why they're talking to me is because I'm giving them money and buying $20 drinks. Not that I know anything about how hostess bars work on Guam or anywhere else in the Pacific. But it seems to me that's it. It's like you're coming. It just seems to be a little extra. Like they were going to come to Guam anyway. They've got a pent-up demand to come and be on Guam and shop on Guam and eat on Guam and have a good time with their kids and their family on Guam. And we're going to give them $100. I don't, and it goes to the airline. I don't know. We just give it to the passenger if we're gonna do that. Oh, I know why we don't want to do it. You know why we don't want to do that? Because then the activists will get out and say, "Oh my God, it's welfare. It's tourist welfare." So if we don't give it directly to the passengers, we give it to the airlines, is it still tourism welfare? Something to ponder. I don't know. Carl Gutierrez in Seoul, Korea right now, doing everything he can just to get the airlift capacity up to where it should be. And I know he's going to do a very good job, and I expect in the next couple of days we might get some kind of report from him. 9:57 as we close the drapes on the program today. The governor crowing yesterday about the expansion in a program that would allow for more families to avail themselves of sweet federal money to get their kids into daycare situations. And I saw the numbers, and they ain't bad. They're not so bad. It looks like there might be more families that will be able to do all of this and get their kids in these child care situations. But among them are at what rate are they going to be charging now? Because if I was in the daycare business, and my family has been in the daycare business from one time or another, and it can be lucrative. And so if there's all of this money and all of the daycares are saying, okay, there's going to be an uptick in demand now that more families can do this, but they still have to live within the confines of all of their fixed costs and all of their personnel costs. It's not like you can just start bringing more kids into your daycare.
Yeah, there's structure.
There is structure there. There is a minimum number of human beings that need to be around for each other set of human beings. So we got this many kids, and there have to be this many adults that watch over. I forget what the magic ratio is, but you've got to do something like that. So as there is more demand, they're going to need to bring in more caregivers into these facilities, maybe even move into bigger facilities, and that is going to increase the cost of doing business. Now, maybe that's the plan all along. And there certainly is probably a need here for more daycare facilities. And I'll put it this way. There's a need here for more daycare facilities. And can I also put in there's more need here for daycare facilities that work at different hours. You've seen this, right? Yeah. Not
Good
every
thinking,
job
man.
starts at 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. Some mommies need to drop the kids off at 5 o'clock in the morning and have the daycare. Yeah, well, I don't know who those mommies are.
Those working moms.
Those working moms. Some moms got to put the kids in daycare early. And I'm wondering, is there any money that is set aside in this program for GMH? And you might be going, Guam Memorial Hospital, what do they need money for? No, not Guam Memorial. The old family joke is you take the kids to GMH, grandma's house. So is there money that we can say, look, I don't want to give the daycare centers any more money. Can I just get this and give this to my mom because she is the care provider for my children? I don't want them going to different places. I want them to stay closer to home. Is there any way that I can compensate grandma for this? Well, we'll talk about that maybe tomorrow. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I got to go because Fox News is already on.
Fox News. The head of police in the Kyiv region of Ukraine says 6 charred bodies piled together have been found in Bucha, and the circumstances surrounding the deaths are being investigated. Other bodies recovered earlier this week.
Ukrainian troops cleaned up the regained land outside of the capital of Kyiv and collected the corpses of the men and women said to have been tortured, their bodies with nowhere else to go other than a mass grave. Russia continues to deny these claims, but new satellite images from March 19th show what appear to be bodies on the ground weeks before Ukraine regained control of the area. One U.S. government expert told Fox News that if Russia intended to release that gas, then it might be considered a chemical weapons event. The governor of the Luhansk region urging those nearby to stay inside.
Fox's Alex Hogan in Lviv. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki echoing comments from President Biden about Russian President Vladimir Putin, calling him a war criminal. The U.S. and European allies expected to announce a new round of sanctions against Russia tomorrow. Former President Obama makes a return visit to the White House to mark the anniversary of the Affordable Care Act.
The ACA's author, former President Obama, praised President Biden for taking the next step.
To fix a glitch in the regulations that will lower premiums for nearly 1 million people who need it.
President Biden said that glitch kept individuals seeking coverage from insuring their family.
Starting next year, working families in America will get the help they need to afford full family coverage.
It must go through a rules process with Republicans who want to end it, but it could open the ACA for millions more to sign up.
Fox's Gernal Scott. America is listening to Fox News.
How quickly did you become scared out of your wits? I mean, were you frightened immediately or just kind of, this is curious?
I was not frightened immediately. First of all, my brother stood up and thought it was a joke and said, we didn't do it, thinking that this was a prank that Edward might have pulled on us because this stuff didn't happen where we grew up.
Fox News Podcasts, Nightmare in Chowchilla. 26 children vanished. The shocking story behind the largest abduction in U.S. history. Nightmare in Chowchilla. Listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com.
Well, they say there are certain things that shouldn't be brought up at the kitchen table, but not here at the Duffys. So pull up a chair and join me, Rachel Campos Duffy.
And me, former U.S. Congressman Sean Duffy, as we share our perspective on the discussions happening at kitchen tables across America.
And we're going to share some real-life solutions as well to the everyday issues that you all talk about. And we're going to talk about some of those things that we agree on.
And some that we don't.
Download from the kitchen table, the Duffys, at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
New bill banning so-called divisive concepts has advanced in Alabama's legislature.
The divisive concepts bill would ban discussions in school that call the U.S. inherently racist. The language in the bill is broad and says no one should be adversely treated or told they're inferior because of race, sex, color, or